Vendetta. You see Super Shark coming up to this, is not going to be able to catch the Fanny at this point.
I love it. I love that, you know, Poggy captured, like you said, the turtle's like playing Pokemon here, right? Is able to grab that turtle, secure it for the team. You know, Basic did grab a kill. I believe that was the 1v1 fight on the top side, took out Yuna. Just the hard part here is if you can actually utilize the feathered airstrike yourself for Shiki, because there you go, the Phoveus is locked in. I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a difficult time actually finding the right moments or those setups for the feathered airstrike for you to provide that early damage that you're gonna that's your job here, right? Because you got to give time for 1-1. This also kind of solves that, right? You're gonna have a Fanny locked in here, and I know a lot of Fanny fans are out there. And this is a great tool. It's a great tool to have on a team. The damage is obviously there, but at the same time, the downside, the risk reward of a Fanny pick is if you lose your blue buffs, you're kind of just what's the term? Walking Fanny, right? You're going to be a walking Fanny. It's going to be difficult to get the steel cables out, man. And so you really, at this point, not only do you want to allow something to deal with that cold halter, with what the Valley's thrown at you, but at the same time, you got to protect your Fanny now. You got to make.
Yeah, I do like the Phoveus pick up there, especially in an answer for that 1-1. Even in the late game, just able to rain down so much damage. It's going to be interesting to see how they go into it. We are starting off at game 1 here, though. The Valley taking on Vendetta to see who's moving on in the top bracket. And I know fans, this is what the match that a lot of people came here to see.
Yeah, I mean, this is a crucial match to say the least, right? They're fighting for that first grand final spot. Not only does that come with its own, you know, triumphs and tribulations, the fact that you will be possibly the team to represent NA in M4, which is, you know, obviously everybody's goal here. And to say too that, you know, you're a champion of the NACT. This is where it all starts, up here. And at the same time, you can say too, whatever team does get defeated here, at least they have another shot, right? At least there's a potential there to fall back into the grand final. But still, I think a lot can be said for teams that fight in the upper brackets, the upper bracket semifinals. They have a lot going for them, and at the same time, it does show just how the game plan, how strong they can be with whatever composition they're playing with, because honestly, the Valley, they've showed, I don't want to say a different team comp or style each time, but for the most part, they've shown something that their play style is very, you could call it out. This is the Valley, right? And a lot of people, that's what they like to see. So that's what I want to see from Vendetta personally, because the Valley has coasted up to this point. Now I want to see Vendetta to actually kind of be that roadblock for the Valley. Like, you got to get over us and see how that outplays here.
Yeah, and it's going to be a roadblock indeed, especially as we move into this first turtle. Both teams kind of like, and you were saying, the Valley does have a very great flexibility with this current meta. They are able to use just a maximum amount of characters. We do see that feathered airstrike being used to kind of push back Phoveus, so he's not going to be here for this fight. Pogi trying to get lined up here. Is going to be able to capture this turtle, takes it on. We see the Cold Ultra coming out, but the damage. Here comes the feathered airstrike of their own from Hoon is going to be able to save his player and cleaned up by Yuri there. So a great pickup by there. 1-1. Both teams at an even point here right now, but that turtle did go over to the side of Vendetta. You see Super Shark coming up to this, is not going to be able to catch the Fanny at this point.
I love it. I love that, you know, Poggy captured, like you said, the turtle's like playing Pokemon here, right? Is able to grab that turtle, secure it for the team. You know, Basic did grab a kill. I believe that was the 1v1 fight on the top side, took out Yuna, but then Yuri able to come and get a kill. That is going to be crucial though, because again, you want these early kills on this Fanny as much as possible to set that kind of jungle pace going against, you know, Moba Zane here, because they're both actually going to be packing damage early on mid game. But again, if Yuri's able to grab that early setup, that's going to be beneficial.
Yeah, you see that Numenon blast.
actually going to be packing damage early on mid-game. But again, if Yuri's able to grab that early setup, that's going to be beneficial for them.
Yeah, you see that Numenon blast coming down. And pretty interesting there. Super Shark did come in with that Shadow Stampede. Dragged Leo. Might have been a miss, might have been not the plan you wanted, because that put Yuri in a great position for his Numenon blast to land on Hoon. So we need to be very careful about how we're setting up these pulls from that that Shadow Stampede, because you don't want to be taking roams and putting them in the middle of your pack or putting them to your most vulnerable players.
Hold up. I just realized too. See, this is my morning brain working here. Yuri's not even jungling, right? Like, when have we seen this with Fanny? I mean, also rolling just what lane is he in? He's playing XP. Is that XP Fanny?
Yes.
XP Fanny. Okay, hold on.
Set up here. Cult Ultra comes out, but down comes the feathered airstrike. Basic gets taken down by Yuri there, followed by Pokey getting taken out as well. They might be in a little bit of trouble here. Here comes the demonic force onto Leo. Does catch a kill for Fried Chicken. This is going to open up a great position for the side of the valley, but up at the top, you do see Yuna and Yuri able to go ahead and answer that. Counter it with a turret of their own. So I almost want to say that this kind of goes in the favor of Vendetta, since they have opened up that map but cost themselves a death and a turtle.
This
must have happened before with Yuri. I think maybe he's played XP Fanny before. I'm just not used to seeing it myself, right? But so far it's working out. It allows him to pretty much roam the map as much as possible and not just have to sit there and fight, you know, Phoveus.
Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, we do have an offer for you guys. Tag a friend on Facebook or type hashtag NACT fall season in the NACT esports Discord or on Facebook for your chance for a unique gift code. We do see a little bit of an action happening here. Numenon blast coming down, feathered airstrike down. Moba's able to take out Yuna, and we see Theo with his own Numenon blast does not connect, and they gotta walk. You do see that the Valley's been able to walk away with one kill of their own. It is 4-2 right now. Gold still tied. I do like that Vendetta still keeping up the farm, especially with Pogi on this Belmont, keeping it up even though they are starting to kind of slip a little behind when it comes to the kills.
この右側赤の方がちょっと有利な感じはあるな。
had the flicker there, that would have been a perfect flicker Numenon blast setup.
後半ね、ファニーのこと止めらんないんですよね。
But a couple members of the Valley were low, so it could have been a different story there. But
かといって序盤からめっちゃ有利取ってるわけじゃないから。
Still, as everything's gonna kind of come into place here, simmer down until I feel like that next turtle.
Okay. Whoa, what a bait though! As you do see that Numenon blast coming out and the feathered airstrike as well, trying to put on the damage, but unfortunately Vendetta cannot capitalize on it. I love the play there from Moba taking out Yuri up at that bottom second tier tower there. Yuna trying to put on the damage onto Shark, who's going to try to clear up this lane. He gets taken out by Moba Zane as well. It is 6-2, and this game's starting to edge ever so carefully as we head into the 7-minute mark. We talked about this before. This is when the Valley likes to kind of start putting on that gas and pedal to the metal. Yuna taking a whole heap of damage. And we do see Fried Chicken going in. Pokey able to take out the turret. The Numenon blast comes down right now, but Moba Zane picks up the kill onto Theo right now. It is a 7-2 game, a 1K gold lead for the side of the Valley.
守れるか。
Man, it just, I mean, just like that, in what, a couple minutes, things kind of just turn in favor of the Valley, like even more. I mean, things were pretty even, but in a matter of a couple minutes, now the gold lead is there, the kills are there on the right people. Moba Zane getting 2 massive kills for himself. Again, this makes me wonder, you know, the Fanny side lane pick, right? How useful can it be mid to late game, right? Do you start giving up that buff? Of course, you know, the Ballman doesn't necessarily need the blue buff, and you could eventually give it away to Yuri here, but, you know, how will that all play out for him? I think that's a big question, but already positive.
いいガンク。
Yeah, and a little bit of trouble there is going to get taken out by the duo of Moba Zane and Fried Chicken. And, I mean, maybe potentially you give the blue buff to Shiki, you start letting him start getting that cooldown to where you have about a 9 or 12 second cooldown on that feathered airstrike as you reach into the late game. But I mean, you're going to have to get into a position for that. You can't just keep on giving it away here. You have to think about this mid game, which right now the Valley is very dominant in. Had a little bit of trouble in the beginning. You see Fried Chicken here getting kind of tossed around with Yuri kind of zipping around him with those cables. But like you said, at the end of the game, what is Yuri going to be doing? Possibly maybe split pushing to kind of help with that as we move into the team fights that might be favoring the Valley more.
It's something that I want to see play out. Just hopefully a mid to late game to see how that's really utilized. Obviously, it's something that's unique to Yuri and that he's willing to bring to the table. But right now, the Valley is just slowly but surely building on that gold lead. First Lord of the game is going to come up here. They are trying to get in position, set everything up. They do push these lanes a little bit. Now, the tier 1 turrets are still going to be up in the mid lane. That's going to be fine because, I mean, right now they control this space. They have that little bit of an advantage. I don't think there's going to be any contest for this first Lord of the game as is secured by Basic. So the Valley takes it, but here on the top side.
あれちょっと今のってどうなってた
They're still really building on that gold lead. First Lord of the game is going to come up here. They are trying to get in position, set everything up. They do push these lanes a little bit. Now, the tier 1 turrets are still going to be up in the mid lane. That's going to be fine because, I mean, right now they control this space. They have that little bit of an advantage. I don't think there's going to be any contest. Is secured by Basic. So the Valley takes it, but here on the top side.
Moba just pushed into that bulwark, not doing anything to help out Theo. Shiki gets taken out by Main, who, what an absolute crazy amount of damage on that Valentina. This is the problem with that Valentina and why she is still a threat, even with the most recent nerfs on her. We do see that the rest of the Valley starting to push in here, the machine that is the Valley. Lord coming in, but still pushing on these towers at the bottom as well. Phobius with a parade of minions. You do see that Fanny's going to go ahead and try to cut that off, but we are pushing onto this mid tower. We see that AoE come out to clear out the minions, but it's not enough to save Theo in a little bit of trouble. Bulwark does not save him again. Shiki in trouble. A little bit of health left on him. And the Lord is crashing in, swinging away at the tower. Hoon gets picked off by Yuri there. So a great defense. They do lose a tower as well.
どうなってたミッド
That is the Valley. Lord coming in, but still pushing on these towers at the bottom as well. Phobius with a parade of minions. You do see that Fanny's going to go ahead and try to cut that off, but we are pushing onto this mid tower. We see that AoE come out to clear out the minions, but it's not enough to save the tower. Not save him again. Shiki in trouble. A little bit of health left on him, and the Lord is crashing in, swinging away at the tower. Hoon gets picked off by Yuri there. So a great defense. They do lose a tower as well, but you see down here, Fried Chicken is going to go ahead and keep the damage onto here.
マップでさ、ファニーのマップでファニーのとこばっか見てたから肝心の中心見れてなかった。ファキートが暴れてたんか。何かなと思った。
Yeah, I mean that was a kind of a funny interaction there. I think Shark like popped the Colt Altar, but Hoon was already dead. You know, and Yuri grabbed that kill, so it's like he stood there.
赤側はファニーにバフ渡したいけど、
so
まあちゃんと管理されてると。
cracked over to the mid lane for Vendetta.
なんかファニーがいるから。
I mean, this is a situation that they can slowly crawl back into, but still, like I was saying, what does Yuri do here, right? I mean, look what's happening with against Fried Chicken. You're trying to play yourself in that lane, push things out, but unfortunately, he's just there, right? Fried Chicken is just that's what he has to do. He's just gonna play himself there. That tier 2 is not going to go down yet. They're just going to continue to buy some time here until the next Lord comes out. Unless they can grab another kill like this. Moba Zane, man, 7-0-3. I think the guy heard me talk about, you know, that jungle centric playstyle he likes to have and the tank junglers and everything. But he's like, you know, I got the Paquito and he's 7-0-3. But I got to say, he's punching through Theo's shields too. So I feel like at the same time, Theo hasn't
パキ
actually
ート
been
は
able to
ファ
utilize
ニーのことを狙いに
that
行ってるけ
Lolita
ど
pick the way that they wanted to. The idea that they had,
帰れると。
it's not working out for them. And slowly but surely, you're looking at a 6K gold lead for the Valley. And at this point, you know, Basic doesn't even have to do much because he can just continue to farm up. Now that's a scary thing because if the game does drag on for some reason, eventually Basic will be exactly where he needs to be on the clinch, right? Pumping out damage. And this is the thing about Yuri, again, the Fanny, you can get attention to yourself, you can put pressure on the map, but at the end of the day, what are you actually doing for the team? Like what are you doing for the team in terms of skirmishes and team fights and these objectives? Are you actually going to be there, or is your sole job to just sit in a lane
ファニー取ってるからさ。
Yeah, and that is interesting too because you
視界
are
取りに行
trying
け
to
ない
kind
よ
of
ね。
bait out. You're trying to
バ
be
フ
a
が取れればっ
nuisance,
て
but
感
the
じはあるけ
Valley
ど。
just too smart for that. They're not going to chase a Fanny.
取
They're
れてな
not
いと
going
思
to
うと
waste
そうだ。
those demonic forces on a Fanny. They're just going to ignore it, especially at a point where right now they are so many levels behind. Not even a contest for this Lord. Theo at level 11 right now. Mobazane already
そうだ
maxed
ね、い
out.
ないで
This
す
is a
ね。
4-level gap for them, and it's no wonder. Oh my God, Basic got eaten alive by Yuri there. So I mean, we're talking about the use of Yuri, but still able to find those positions, still able to find those picks, especially with the Luminous Lord. So it's going to be a 4v5 as they try to push into this base. When you see the Lord starting to come in, going to go through this gap here in the middle. And do we have lane synced up? We don't have the bottom lane synced up, so we are going to go ahead and take up this top tower. Lumina Blast does come in, catches the entire team right now. Hell,
マファが強い。
Demonic Force still raining down damage.
やば、オビウス。
More flame shot comes out. Another demonic force takes out Yuna here right now.
ただミニオンは全部処理できてる。
Yuri able to pick up the kill onto Shark right now. The rest
さあ
of
フ
the
ァニーの
valley
逆襲が始まるか。
they're going to go ahead and disengage, but they got a tower and picked
ファニー
up
は
a kill
サイドプッ
from
シ
the
ュ。
side of Vendetta.
Okay, I like to call that the caster curse, right? Asking what is Yuri's use? So he gets a kill on Basic, and then
決
they
めきる
actually
の
do
も
a
決め
great
きるの
job
でちょっと大
defending
変そうな
it.
感じあるけど
And
ね。
you know, with him being close to the fountain in the base, this allows him to just
モ
go
バゼイ
ahead
ン
and
側
go
は
back
さ、
and
あれがないね。
forth,
フォ
back
ーク
and
がないか
forth,
ら、
try to pick up some kills
その
here.
基本的
Now,
に
yeah, the
フルフェレ
demonic
スの
force is
敵
still
を
something to deal with, to
フ
handle
ルフェレ
with.
スで
But
ベース
you
内
know,
の
if
敵を
Yuri
倒
can
さなきゃい
actually
けないから、
continue to do this,
ちょっと決めきる
then
のが大
maybe
変そ
that
う。
buys them more time to turn the game around in their favor. But right now, in the jungle they go.
あーこの高い位置は
Theo does get taken out. We have that call alter activated.
赤側は高い位置であんま戦いたくないと思うが、
disengage demonic force taking chicken deep into enemy lines.
今
He is
どうなっ
gonna
てた？
buys them more
右側
time. Try to pick up some kills here. Now, yeah, the demonic
右
force
側
is
だな。
still something to deal with,
フ
to
ァニーが
handle
サイ
with.
ドプッ
But
シュ
you
行
know,
っ
if
て、
Yuri can
あれか、ロイン
actually
が
continue
広げに
to
行った
do
のか。
this, then maybe that buys them more time to turn the
これ
game
なんか
around
ロイ
in
ン
their
が、
favor. But right now, in the jungle they go. Yuri can actually
俺ロイ
continue
ン
to
甘え
do
てる感
this.
ない？すご
Then
い。
maybe
視界
that
の取り
buys
方がな
them
ん
more
か、
time to
狙
turn
っ
the
てくだ
game
さいみたいな。
around in their favor. But right now, in the jungle
琥
they
珀と
go.
の位置もめっちゃ離れてるし。
Yeah, you see that feather bear strike coming down. Theo does get
なんか
taken
単
out.
純にロインが甘えた感あるな、これは。
And the rest of Vendetta is going to have to disengage demonic
高
force
すぎるな。
taking chicken
味
deep
方
into
が
enemy
全員
lines.
い
He
るんだったらいい
is
と思
going
う
to
けど。
think twice about continuing on that press. But here's the thing too. We were talking about the Fanny Yuri. As you get into the base defenses, I think this is where Yuri's actually going to shine. Like you were just saying, he gets those cables, able to come in and kind of like just to blast through the entire team. When he runs out of energy, get back to the base, fill up. He doesn't even need the blue buff, so he's going to be able to do that just like he has a blue buff while he's defending base. Oh man, you do see a feather
あー、ファニーが
out
持ってかれる。ファニーじゃねえや。
able to pick off Shiki right now. Yuna does take down Mobazane, so it's a 1-for-1 trade.
ここで
Still
パキート落としたの。
15-6
でか
right
いと思
now.
ったけ
We
ど。
have minions crashing down at the bottom, but is this the
ロー
fight
ドは間に合っ
that
ち
he
ゃう。
wants? Demonic force coming and pressing in right now. We do see that the call ultra comes out right now. More demonic force.
さあ、ロインの神ウルトが入って、あ、これはやばいか？もう間に合わないんじゃない？ここで死んじゃったら。ここで死んだらロード間に合わんと思うぞ。奥の雪が怪しい。あれっすね、3対5でロード戦仕掛けれますね、赤側は。ちょっと待ってね。 3対5だけど、ファーサがそういうのが分かってるから、これは入ってきそうな感じある。お互いのロインのウルトが打ち上がバルモンドが取れます。さすがにな。さすがにバルモンドが強いよな。これはもしこれでもう GG まで持ってきちゃったら、さっきの右下のちょっとした集団戦でもう試合が完全に傾いた。ファニーがもうここからバフを取り行かない。取り行かずに押し切るって判断だな。多分ファニーはここからクリントのことをね一人で狙いに行くんじゃないかなと思います。ただヘルスがないからいけないか。ロイマサがうまい。ここでバフが落ちたのはちょっとあちゃーって感じですね。最低限プッシュレーンは作りたかったけどサードは折れない。自陣のサードが残ってるレーンから広げていくのが、今みたいにこのサードタワーが1個残ってるんだったら、このサードタワーも絶対に折らせたくないですね。ここはマジで折らせないしないときつい。全部折れちゃうとね、かなりきついですね。そういった意味では定石ですね。
And that's something that they're going to have to work around. How do you deal with that? Look, I mean, even Super Shark here already getting chunked really low.
エンドになっちゃう状況を除いてはね、ちゃんと守った方がいいですね。
Anytime you're trying to get some vision, you have a lot to deal with. So, again, I think this comes down to that next Lord fight. You're still going to see Yuri putting pressure on the side lanes, especially with those turrets as much as possible. They want to at least get one down, if not two. But again, it all comes down to the next big objective. And I do have to say that the Valley is still in a position to actually contest it, to fight it. But with that being said, you still have to fight against Poggy. Even if he struggled early on, at the end of the day, all he has to do for the Lord fight is drop down the lethal counter, have the retribution. If the timing is there before Mobizane, you come out winning, right? And so how do you have that advantage if you're the Valley? Well, you put pressure on Poggy. You try to zone him out or at least force an issue where he's not going to be able to pull that off. But at the same time,
あと10秒ぐらいで湧くんですけど、とりあえずお互いお互いに1枚もかけたくない状況。
Same situation. The whole team on Vendetta was struggling.
ただ、ハニーがもうバフを持ってるから、人数差をかけて、ロード戦いけるのは赤側ですね。クリントが反対側にいるのはどういうことなのかちょっと気になるな。
Yeah, Hoon just takes the heap of damage early. Colt Alter has been popped by Shark, who's going to be in trouble here. A feathered airstrike of the Valley, their own right now.
何か意図があったようには見えない。
Theo in some trouble here, does pop that immortality and is going to be taken out there. It's going to be a little bit of a position here. They are going to start on that low mid lane. Yuri with the entire team on his shoulders. The damage to this.
ただ取れるか。バルモンドが入ってる。入れない。さあ取ったのは青側だが青バフを持ったファニーが
It is a 3-for-2 trade right now. Mobizane in trouble does get taken out. They only have 2 members left. They do get the Lord, but it costs them 3 of their members. Not only that, but they were able to do it while Yuri was able to push the mid lane. So they are evening this out. They do still have the goal lead, and they are definitely still in this. But they're gonna have to contest with this Luminous Lord. Does the Valley have enough to close this game out?
とりあえずロインが帰ってくるまで待つんじゃないか。これをね押し切るって判断はさすがにしないと思います。逆にね、もうここで押し切るのは返される未来しか見えないし、もしここで落ちたら2対5で逆にエンドですね。
the best thing that it could do is get that last turret in Vendetta's
長
base.
引けば長引くほど赤側が有利な感じはしますね、このピック。
Let's say they were all up. I still think
ハ
they
ニー
would
の
have
こ
a
と止
difficult
めれない
time
から
actually
ね。
ending the game.
火力
Just
がや
because
べえっ
like
て
we
なっ
were
たら
talking about
防具を
Yuri,
積むっ
you
て
know,
選択肢も
in
で
a
きる
base
し。
defense is almost unlee energy and can just wait for the moments to really steal cable in.
さあ攻めるのか。
They probably will
ハニー
lose
が帰っ
this
てくる。
turret here as they
結
go in.
構がっつり攻めにいってるな。サードタワーが折れる。これはあれかな、サードタワー折るためのツッコミなのかな。多分そうですね。サード折るためのホビダイブだったと思う。アファセスがウルト使ってなかったから、決め切ろうみたいなあれではないですね。ただこの位置結構大きいんじゃないかなって思っちゃうけど、どうだろう。時間稼ぎはできそうですね。
just sending in fried chicken there a little better than just kind of like running into that wall with your entire team. So I mean they're still in a good position here. It just man, maximum value right now is what Yuri is getting out of this Fanny.
ハニーの数が増えるからなんか
I mean, that's an understatement,
工夫が増えて工夫がなくってその流れは別にないと思いますね。
value, everything else, he's 13-1-2.
ファニー使いは別に工夫がいようが舞うんで
I mean,
そんなに関係ない。
basic has damage, right? He's got that, but it all comes down to how do they position for this Lord? At the same time, it's a great thing that the Valley has all the turrets of Vendetta's base down, because if they really want to pivot and possibly put pressure on the side lane and push it in, try to go for the back door if that's what they feel necessary, they could possibly do that. But at the same time, because Yuri is so mobile, I feel like they're going to have a hard time actually going that route. So I feel like they need to just go ahead and fight this one out, fight this Lord fight, look for position here if they can. Spot them out there. This could just result in nothing actually. Again, there's crucial things here, positioning and everything that both teams need to be wary of. There's a lot of immortalities too, Private, right? So that's going to be another thing to deal with, the immortalities plus that Cold Pulsar. But either way, I got to say, it's almost 50-50, and it just comes down to
このロードはね、お
and at
互
the
い
same
ね、
time, even though the Valley still has 2 turrets up, they're going to have a
お互いに
difficult
触れ
time
ないんだよな。
actually just freely taking this one, because it is it's 24 minutes into the game, so it's going to take quite a team effort to take the Lord, but at the same time, you can see them actually trying to position to either get a pick
この触
off
ってるの
or
は
possibly push a side lane
とりあ
in.
えず睨んでおきたいっていうやつだ
Yeah,
と
we
思う。
do see them coming down onto this blue buff. The demonic force is trying to chase out
取り
Fanny.
切ろうって判断は
Meanwhile,
しないとは思う
this Lord. It's
が
interesting that he's baiting this
どう
out
だ
because the team
めちゃめちゃ削ってるな。
actually there and present. Hoon is going to go ahead and help him cover
取り切る
Theo.
判断する
They're
取り切る
not
判
even
断
going
す
to
る
go ahead and put the damage onto him, but you're going to have to
バルモンドを返したからか
Numenon blast coming.
カンフード入ってロード取れる。このロードでかい。赤側はここで思いっきり返さないときついですね。5対5の戦いはしたくないと思う。1キル。ロインのイールドが入ったからもっと回収できそうな感じもあるが。琥珀が。おー。持っていく。ハニーが。ハニーが強い。あんなん持っていけるのやばいってマジで。別にクリント甘えたわけじゃないからね、今の。結構いい位置にだからなんなら。これは決まるな。無理だな。無理っすね。無理っすね。近寄れんな、これは。いや、お見事。強いな。
And on the shoulders or on the cables of Yuri, and you know, going back to the question.
すごいね。試合時間をこう長引かして逆転するっていうのは本当にすごいね。こう実力っていうか。
Yuri made me eat my words because that's exactly what it does. And I'm surprised to see it because if I recall, according to the
マジで実力ないとね
that he's
い
played
けないからな、
so
あんな逆転。
it's something that I feel like now you have to be considerate of, right? You have to be weary of that playing
こ
against
いつ
Vendetta.
コリッ
Now
トだった
they're
っていうのもある
up
しね、ちょっ
1-0
とビルド
already
見
in
たい
this
です
first
ね。
best of 5.
Yeah, what does Fanny do?
琥
What
珀が
doesn't Fanny
バレン
offer?
ティナのブッシ
Apparently,
ュ対比からの攻撃耐えてたんで、
it just, I
魔
mean,
法積
goes
んで
to
るっていう
show
のが確
how
定なんですけど、
skilled
まあどのくらい
Yuri
防具
was
積ん
there,
でるのかなっていう
especially
のちょっと気にな
when
る。
it came to the late game. Well, I mean, honestly, just
あ
the
とフ
the
ァニー
ability
が
to kind
ど
of
ういうビルドして
to
んの
pick
か、
off
ワンコンビルド
basic,
は
to
確
pick
定だったんですけ
off
ど、後半どういう
whom
防具
as
積んでるか。
well. Not only that, but
え
also
イモー
able
タルだけじゃん。
to have a great defense at the base where you're able to go ahead, top up back in the
琥珀
in the
は
core, come
あ
back
れぐらい売
and
っ
then
てイ
still
モータル
output
買った
the
んか
damage,
な。
clear up minions.
俺
Then
だ
as you
とバ
move
レンティナの
into
火
this
力
late
思い
game,
っきり通ってワンコンされるはずなんだけど。
forcing Fly Chicken to go ahead and try to meet you and then cable back for the
ファ
fight.
ニー
I mean,
は
it's
強え
like
な、マジで。
there's, like I said, maximum value out of that Fanny. I mean, it's
あれこれ
just
スコ
ridiculous
ア
here. You can see here right now, Yuri,
スコア
of
ないじゃん、
course, the
ヒーロー
most
の。
deserving of that MVP here, and it just it shows what Vendetta has done. A great draft by them here to kind of counter this from the Valley. But I have to wonder. You saw that little bit of a slip up, that little bit of a hiccup from the Valley. You can see from this replay here, a great Numenon Blast landed, which does
さあさあさあさあ。
to get that last inhibitor tower
さあ、バンピックです。
very haphazardly. Which kind of turned it around for them. They got with the Vendetta able to pick up 4 kills and then kind of pushed in and kind of points to it being the Valley's game to kind of throw and lose there. Maybe because they got a little confident. Because man, at that point they were in a very dominant position. We were sitting here talking about how like what is this Fanny doing? Nothing. And that's all they needed was a little bit of an opening for it. We do see with the bands up, Fly Chicken good. Oh, and that's another thing too. You to mention it. Paquito, kind of flexible. Does kind of look like it's going to be going on to Fly Chicken. Hoon's going to go ahead, pick up this Farja. So they've got that range. They've also got that melee distance damage, which is going to mean that no matter where you are in the map during these engagements, you're going to have damage coming at you.
Yeah, and
まあおそらくファニーはタゲ版ですね、これは。
アメリカ始まりの早いですね。
ファニーはタゲ版と。
リリ
アとマファセスはタゲ版じゃなくてシンプルに強いから消してんだと思います。メリッサに関しては、おそらく、こっちが右側が使うっていう情報があって、でクラウドって序盤弱いんで序盤強いメリッサ当てられるときついっていう話でおそらくバンしてるのかなと思います。この2枚は確定ですね。普通にただってるから。でクラウドがファーストとメリッサ消したからおそらく取ったんだと思う。でパーサー、パキートはね、多分こんな名前が変わってないんで、おそらく EXP で取るんだと思う。個人的にもね、パキートは EXP の方が強いね。スペル持ってね、横からガンガン入っていけるのがやっぱ強いと思う。アント持ってるとちょっとね、とかあるから。さっきの試合みたいに、なんだ、サイドプッシュがちょっと渋っちゃうから。アテラスと、まあ、あれですね、カスタムならではですね、後半のバンがあるから、最後にアテラス取って、ディガーバン、まあ、大会ならでは。で、バルモンドは強いからと。ゾーンは、なんだろうね。
When you have again an Atlas pick, you can pretty much count that there will be the appropriate follow-up there. But still, at the same time, what I want to point out is there going to be chaos? Because that's what Yuzhong
最近はなんか無難に強いからゾーンを取ろうっていうのはね、
anytime you think of a blazing duet in the Black Dragon form, immediately players are like panic. You know, they're like, oh, disperse. You know, run away, everything else. So I think that's something that they have to kind of worry about at the same time. What these last 2 picks for both teams are, because right now I'm really liking the fact that there is an Atlas on the table for the Valley, but I've seen it struggle time after time after time, and even some of the teams here in the Philippines, right, where it just looks like they're trying to force fatal links, because that's literally what you're trying to do. So last bands are going to be out here for the second phase. That Diggy does come out, the counter option for the Atlas, so they take that out, plus the Cho. And last two
アテラ
bands
スは
from
ね、ミニオン処理が早いんで、ミッドと一緒に動くのが結構簡単なんですよ。だからここは2枚一緒にずっと動きやすいっていうので、結構強いかなと思います。
The synergy from the Valley, I feel like a lot of them they have this
ローディはそうですね、この2枚が張り付いてくるんで、防具も詰めて CC もあるっていうので、ここに対して結構強いかな。ああ、ガレックね、そうだよね、なんでガレック取られてないんだ。ガレックはね、ファーストピックしてもいいぐらいマジ強いんですよ。本当にね、ファーストピックしてもいい、ガレックは。シューはさっきもバンされてたから、もしかしたらタゲバンかな。ジュリアンと、ジュリアンはね、火力のナーフが入ってないんで、まだまだ評価高いですね。
finding or capitalizing on maybe people out of position, especially when it comes in. It's going to need to be a very careful game played by Yuna, played by Shiki on some of these characters. To make sure that they aren't caught in the fatal links and possibly for Shark to not take the bait of like maybe Kogi showing his face out there like, hey, go ahead, fatal links me because I already have my back line ready to kind of dive into the back of yours and shred you. We do see these last ones picked up. Mobazane going to go ahead and pick up that Karina. Theo on the ground. Some great and strong picks. We have seen Zane on this Karina. Maybe not as much this season. Or through this tournament as much, but I do know he likes to play it. He's very comfortable on it. So it'll be very interesting to see how they capitalize with this as we're going to move into game 2.
どのくらい見れるかってところかな。
It's funny that you say that because I just, for some reason, I remember. I don't know if his opinion has changed, but for some reason I remember Zane being like, "Man, I hate Karina. I hate tank Karina. Like I hate that meta. I hate playing it."
カリナ、カリナはおそらくタンクなんで、クラウドのことを瞬殺するっていうのは多分難しいんですよ。だからまあ、パキートでクラウドのことをどのくらい見れるかっていうのは結構重要な感じはありますね。
We know exactly how they need to play around that. And at the end of the day, my biggest question is this Brody pick from basic. How will that play out for them?
集団戦に関してはもう圧倒的に左の方が強いんで、右がどう出るか。基本的にはなんか後入りになるかなと思うけど。
Yeah, we're gonna find out if that was an upset. Maybe it was that the Valley's game to lose, or have they kind of managed out? Have they found and are going to sharpen up their swords as we move into the second game here? I mean, both all over. You can already see a lot of aggression. Just everybody showing themselves, not even wanting to give up this little line right now. And it's going to be picked up by Mobazane, who's going to go ahead and back to go ahead and try to get up this. Here's the thing too. They're not even putting a lot of pressure onto this gold lane. They're going to go ahead and let Basic and Yuna do their own thing here. Kind of really, both of these teams have faith in their marksmen to kind of get farmed up in their anti-game potential, which is going to be very interesting to see as we're moving into this first minute.
クラウドじゃねえや。ガレックのことがもろに入れば、ちゃんと落とせるのかな。
expect both of them to go ahead and farm up. I don't think they're going to find early kills here, but
ジュリアン
exactly what he needs to, right? He's getting into jungle of Vendetta, trying to grab as much XP as he can.
ハンターとかもね、後半落としきれないことが多いんですよね。防具積まれるっていうのもそうだし、すばしっこいからスキル外すと終わっちゃうんですよ。そこはね、むずい。うまいが、この11交換はクラウド。クラウドの勝ちっすね、これは。
And also, the turtle's going to be up here shortly. The upside of that, Basic does get a little bit extra gold. Also here, it looks like Vendetta wanted to make a play on the bottom side, but there's the turtle that is now spawned.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, another fight here. Down comes the Feather Airstrike.
Feather Airstrike going to come down. Shiki's flying there. You go, Black Dragon form. That's a whole wombo combo and a half. 2 fall for the Valley. And now the turtle actually going to be the taking for Vendetta. Poggy going to work on that. The rest of the team trying to zone them out. The flicker comes down too. They can't get the kill on Shiki at all. And that's going to be the turtle secured as well.
And what a dominating lead right now. Yuna is going to go ahead and use that. It is going to be a little bit trouble. Basic coming in here is not going to be able to capitalize. As you see that flicker coming out from Yuna. I mean, just a dominating game here. 3-1 already. Starting to edge away. Only about a 500 gold lead for the side of Vendetta. But man, these team fights right now, they're finding the position. They're finding the kills and finding the zone out for these objectives, especially with the Bala on the side. And even look at that, there's these early feathered airstrikes. They're not even worried about it. They're not disengaging. They always have a plan. Shiki coming in with that chains, able to pop him up there. So, I mean, it's, you cannot be sloppy about these engagements. There needs to be a plan. If somebody engages the entire team, needs to be ready. That's what the Vendetta is putting out right now. For the Valley, letting them know that you're not going to come in here with some lackadaisical engagements on us.
Yeah, I mean, they're putting pressure on all points right now. Trying to do their best even here on the buffs of Zane, you know, forcing him back to give it up. Most likely going to lose this. He has to go back to the base, heal back up. You know, fried chicken is there. There's 4 members of Vendetta. There's a flicker, the wild charge. Every fried chicken gonna fall here, so that is gonna be punishment on the bottom side. Not only that, but they took the blue buff from Zane.
Yeah, and amazing there. And we can see here right now, we do have a prediction here. Team Vendetta, they have the predictions. Team Vendetta, the viewers are just a tiny little bit 6% up in the predictions right now after winning the first game. But we have another engagement here on Shark.
Get out of there just in time. Zane trying to push them back again. This is come down to a turtle fight. Has his buff. He's ready to go. Also has the retribution here. They're in a better position to actually just go ahead and take this turtle unless Moba's can do something about it. Wild charge does come out. Who grabs it? Of course. It's going to be Poggy securing it with a lethal counter. That retribution combination, that's hard to beat, honestly. Even if you're someone like Moba Zane, it's a tough thing to handle. But look at the damage already. Shark taking quite a bit. Kill going to the hands of Shiki. And that's another kill for Vendetta.
Yeah, and you were talking about it earlier, being able to find these fatal links and maximizing it on them. Oh, chicken coming in, putting in a lot of damage with that Paquito is going to go ahead and disengage them. Not going to find anything there. But like, it's we saw it a little bit last game. Shark, I feel like they have a great answer for Shark. They are really punishing him for his aggression on these roams. And looks like Yuri actually kind of still pressing his luck here at this bottom lane.
This is such a playstyle switch up from Yuri, by the way. Like to go from side lane fan to, you know, playing Yu Zhang, it's like night and day, right? But he's still doing an amazing job on the Yu Zhang, also flexing that the newest skin, by the way, the Exorcist skin. They look amazing. But at the same time, I mean, the same can be said for Theo, man. Like, Theo is having a much better game here. He's finding those wild charges that he needs here in the mid lane. They're going to be looking for Moba Zane again. Gets the knock up here. Zane taking quite a bit of damage. Poggy looking for the kill. Feathered airstrike's going to come down. Poggy still holding on. There's the lethal counter. Enhanced chains come out. The fatal links to follow up. Shark has to flicker out to survive, and kill after kill. Vendetta widens that gold gap.
I feel like there's a little bit of a lag when it comes to the synergy. But they are going to go ahead and push in, and here comes a black dragon out.
Yuri just, I mean, that's the threat. Like I said, anytime you see Black Dragon, man, you're just like, run. You know, like you, what do you do, right? Especially just in terms of Yuri, like it's the same effect with the Fanny. When you saw the Fanny, it was like you're just running away. So, I mean, at this point, another turtle just go in the hands of Vendetta here. Fried chicken trying to grab Kill. He finds Shiki. Theo a little bit late with a wild charge, and now it's Zane going in. Can they grab the turtle? They do. Moba Zane able to secure that one. It's Vendetta running for the woods here. Super Shark looking to cut them off. Can't get it off. Still holding on to the fatal links for now, but a turtle is going to be secured. This is minor steps in the right direction for the Valley.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, like, there was a little bit of a hesitation from the Shark when it came to some of these engagements. They didn't have the fatal link. They didn't use it early. Oh, no!
Yeah, you don't need anything there. You don't need to use
ゾンはな、ああいうところが弱いんだよね。
nice takeoff from Yuri
ボロい
to
っ
the
ていう
bottom
かさ、
side. So again, another small step in the right
プッシュ
direction
能
for
力が低い
Valley.
っていうかな。ああいう孤立したとこ狙われると、ゾンのウルトってあれ、試し感もあるから、そこ止められちゃうんですよね。
Nice protection there by Vendetta as well. Every single time that they are
受けても基本的に逃げウルトになっちゃう。
pushing these lanes. Oh no, and then you see that Theo, a little bit of trouble is
ゾンの渋い
tanky
ポイ
enough
ン
to
トっ
kind
す
of
ね。
resist a bunch of that damage. Super Shark does think twice about using that fatal links there as well, seeing that it was Poggy there, or seeing that it was Theo there, but we do have an engagement starting here at mid lane.
青側は
Yeah, Theo goes in with a wild charge.
Ah,
Answer with a feathered airstrike. They get a knock up here. Yuri now looking for the kill. Basic's gonna be in trouble. He does fall. Killing spree going over the bottom. The fatal links comes out. They're looking for another cleanup. Hoon's gonna flicker out too. Can they grab another one? It's a double kill for Zane. Another small step in the right direction. Give them 3.
ごっちゃごっちゃでよくわかんなかったな。どうなったの？
Another cleanup.
ごっちゃごっちゃでよくわかんなかった。 入ってて、まあ、11交換みたいな形。ああ、仮な。みんな削れちゃって、仮に回収されてたのか。で、パキートがクラウドを見てると。これが大事っすね。赤側は。パキートでどのくらいクラウドを見れるか。
Quite messy, but still,
ちゃんとやっぱ役割がしっかりしてる感があるね。
to crawl back into this game as they transition
これができないとも
う Lord is going to be just a few seconds away here, and that's crucial, right? They got to fight for space, they got to shut some things down, and at the same time, they need to get their itemization properly set up for that first Lord game. They're going to have to deal with Poggy 4-0-2. With that lethal counter retribution combination, this might be the moment they're looking for. Do they pull the trigger? The fatal link is going to come out. There's the feathered airstrike. They get the mark. 4-0-2. Shut some things down, and at the same time, they need to get their itemization properly set up for that first Lord game. They're going to deal with Poggy 4-0-2. With that lethal counter retribution combination, this might be the moment they're looking for. Do they pull the trigger? The fatal link is going to come out. There's the feathered airstrike. They get the mark. Able to grab the kill. Perfect timing before the first Lord of the game.
And the difference between that engagement and the rest is that it was set up by the fatal links, and then the feathered airstrike comes out instead of the opposite there, where feathered airstrike came out and then a late fatal links by Shark. So as soon as they have the proper setups here, but they are now starting to clash at this Lord.
ゾンが入ってくる。ガレックちゃんと見てるね、カリナのこと。だけど、取れない。
Grab it with that retribution, gonna be able to secure it. Yuri grabs a kill on Hoon, and there's another one. Fried chicken. He's angry, goes in, flickers in, grabs a kill, gets knocked up though himself. That's 2 down for the Valley. Double kill for Yuri. The Lord on top of it. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, there's the fatal links. Shiki goes in with the hands chains. It's basic that falls. Shark into the next focus here. He goes down too, and this is a big mistake here for the Valley.
Yeah, you get the Lord. You could have disengaged. That's great. Have the proper setups here, but they are now starting to clash at this Lord.
Oh man, Yuri actually zoning all of them out. Can they grab the Lord here? Zane does grab it with that retribution. Gonna be able to secure it. Yuri grabs a kill on Hoon, and there's another one. Fried chicken. He's angry, goes in, flickers in, grabs a kill, gets knocked up though himself. That's 2 down for the Valley. Double kill for Yuri, but they trade the Lord on top of it. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, there's the fatal links. Shiki goes in with the hands chains. That falls. Shark gonna be the next focus. Double kill for Yuri, but they trade the Lord on top of it. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, there's the fatal links. Shiki goes in with the hands chains. Basic that falls. Shark gonna be the next focus here. He goes down too, and this is a big mistake here for the Valley.
Yeah,
the hands chains. Knocked up though himself. That's 2 down for the Valley. Double kill for Yuri, but they trade the Lord on top of it. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, there's the fatal links. Shiki goes in with the hands chains. It's basic that falls. Shark gonna be the next focus here. He goes down too, and this is a big mistake here for the Valley.
Yeah, you get the Lord. You could have disengaged, especially Zane. He had to disengage. He didn't have the health on his side, but the Valley, the rest of them decide to engage anyway. A fatal links pulled in, which kind of meant the end for Basic there, as the fatal links pulled the rest of the team in there and forced them onto Basic, who couldn't escape from them. So, I mean, it's just an interesting play by the Valley here, who is used to being so aggressive and might not be so used to fighting these games from behind.
like Shiki alone, able to use the enhanced chains and kind of disengage or engage is working wonders for Vendetta right now. And that's kind of what we see the interaction between Theo and Shiki, right? Sometimes it's Theo starting with the wild charges. Sometimes he's actually helping disengage. And they kind of just exchange. Either it's Shiki doing, that vice versa. So it's working out for them. Vendetta's doing a great job at playing around that. Now, still, the gold lead isn't anything really to talked about because it's pretty much even across the board. It comes down to those micro decisions, right? The micro versus macro here. And Vendetta is doing a great job in a lot of those skirmishes, a lot of those team fights where they're coming out on top. But the same thing can happen for the Valley. And it all comes down to those minor decisions. But the big weakness here that I've seen so far from the Valley is the Basic isn't able to do what he needs to do here. There's another combination. Feathered airstrike going to come down. Yuri pops the Black Dragon. He's going to be just fine, able to survive. Zane was jumping in there. Now it's Fried Chicken that's going to be in trouble. Flickers in, trying to avoid it. Lasts as long as he can, but he finally goes down. Plus the turret. Shark comes in, goes into the bush. Perfect placement. Can he grab one? Here comes Basic now. Able to secure a kill for himself. Shiki's the one that goes down. Double kill for Basic. This is massive for this Brody, as he was struggling early on. Grabbing 2 kills is going to be big for him.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I feel like right now it's in the hands. We were talking about it before, how important the roams are in here, how this Atlas will be utilized. And I've just been seeing a lot of engagements where it's kind of questionable fatal links coming out, and you kind of have to decide how is this beneficial for my team. You grab you get the fatal links on it's on a Yuzong who has a black dragon there. We are seeing this Lord, this Hans Lord, is about 2 seconds away from coming up here. Both teams going to be vying for position for this right now. And Fried Chicken actually maybe putting a decent amount of damage on the Yuri.
We thought it was a 1v1, but here comes Shiki. They might look to capitalize on this and get a kill, and that they do. So now Vendetta has a numbers advantage. That could have very well been a kill if it was a 1v1 here. Both teams you do get the fatal links onto him. It's on a Yuzong who has a black dragon there. And we are seeing this Lord, this enhanced Lord, is about 2 seconds away from coming up here. Both teams going to be vying for position for this. It's on a Yuzong who has a black dragon there. And we are seeing this Lord, this enhanced Lord, is about 2 seconds. We thought it was a 1v1. Nice placement, nice hold on the trigger there from Yuri. So this is going to be a numbers advantage. Yuri still on the bottom side. Might be looking just to push that lane in. Harvey's going to juggle this Lord around a little bit, waiting for the moment for the Valley to start up. Yuri still pushing the lane in, looking to focus on that inhibitor turret if he can. Here comes Shark looking for the fatal links. Can he find it? That's going to be secured here by moment for the Valley to start up. Yuri still pushing the lane in, looking to focus on that inhibitor turret if he can. Here comes Shark looking for the fatal links. Can he find it? That's going to be secured. Waiting for the moment for the Valley to start up. Yuri still pushing the lane in, looking to focus on that inhibitor turret if he can. Here comes Shark looking for the fatal links. Can he find it? That's going to be secured here by Poggy. Also a double. Pushing the lane in, looking to focus on that inhibitor turret if he can. Here comes Shark looking for the fatal links. Can he find it? That's going to be secured here by Poggy. Also a double kill that goes down. Double kill to Poggy. 3 down for the Valley, and once again a big blunder here for the Valley. They give up the Lord. They almost lose that bottom side turret. This is going to be a hard defense for them, as we see Vendetta now knocking on the door of the Valley's base. They lose another turret on the top side. Lord marches down the bottom. It's up to Vendetta here to press the issue. They're still going to wait for Mobazane to come up. They should be able to defend this. This is going to be crucial for Shark. Can he find the fatal links to set the team up for a defense?
And that's the story of this game. Can he find the correct fatal links for this? Because, and especially, is he going to be able to find it before we waste ults on this team? Because fatal links after you've used Feathered Airstrike, fatal links after you've used Torn Apart Memories. Here comes Shark separated right now is more of a warning as we have this Lord crashing in that bottom.
Oh, there's the flicker. Theo's going to miss that. There's the Feathered Airstrike in response. Coming out to looking to end the
サードタワー、俺アテラスが3人引っ張った。が届かない。スキルがどのくらい落ちたか俺見れてないな。サード2本。
There's just not enough from the Valley right now. They took a decent amount of damage here from right at the beginning of that exchange, and Mobazane getting taken out. It's horroring right now. One inhibitor left on their side. Already one victory, 2 Vendetta. Is this going to be a 2-0? They are not able to find these sets with that Atlas.
これ右側ね、ガレックのこと多分落とせないと思うんだよな。ガレックは多分ずっと視界取り行きますね、強気に。
Yeah, again, I think it's just, Vendetta has a lot of tools to engage and disengage. And going back to the fact that we see that exchange between Theo and Shiki. And it solves a lot of issues for them, and that's what the Valley has to work around. Again, you're relying on Shard, right?
ガレックの位置付きが来てたタイミングでアテラスで引っ張って総攻撃で落とすってことはできるかもしれないけど、それ見たらクラウドが入ってくるからできないと。これは左側有利な感じがするな。ガレック強いな、マジで。落ちる気しないもん。
But at the end of the day, Yuna even has a way to get out of it. Not only the BMI, but also has, that Purify available to him. So it's so hard for Shark right now to actually find what he needs to do on this Atlas. And this is exactly what I was talking about in the draft, right? So at this point, you kind of have to just shock and awe. You have to find that surprise factor.
テラスが入っていきたいけど、そこにファーサとかついてこれないから、そこをゾーンになったりとか、クラウドで分断されちゃうと。どうなの？結構前線を上げれてる。あ、うまい引っ張り。アテラスがアテラスがうまい。いや、理想に近いようななんかとしてたのにアテラスが。バルモンドプラスアルファ持ってったね。あれクラウド持ってったのかもしかして。あ、ゾンだよね。そうだよね。ゾンとバルモンド持ってった。ああ、そういうことか。なんでクラウド持ってってないから裏方なんでやられないんだろうと思ったら、あれだ、ウィンターとナチュラル使って裏が耐えてるの。すごいね、ここ。注目だよ、ここ。ウィンターとナチュラル、2つでクラウドを防いでるわ。Gets him away from the Lord. It's going to be secured here by the Valley. And now everybody running for the hills. Theo has to flicker out. Poggy going back to base. And it's the Valley that comes out on top.
Yeah, and a great positioning by them. I did feel like maybe that Lynx was going to be a little late. Enough time, separated him, and gave Mobazane enough time to come in with that retry, capture that. Not only that, but they are in a great position right now. More patient, did not force that fight, and did back up coming in.
Oh man, that's the punishment right there. Plus the blade do it. There's the fatal link though. They're going to be able to find that one. Feels quite low. The killing spree for basic. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade so far. They've got to take care of the Lord though still. They have to manage this one as they lost Theo. Now it's Vendetta with their backs against the wall here as the Valley is trying to capitalize on this Lord push. Going to grab the tier 2 turret. Now it's their turn to look at the base of Vendetta as we see them trying to defend here. Shiki there. Feathered airstrike going to come down. Trying to zone them out as much as possible. Lord finally goes down. And they're going to push them back just a little bit here. Flickering out for basic. And right now, again, still it's neck and neck. I mean, even the gold lead, itemization and all, is quite even here.
Yeah, and even holding Valley down to just one turret there, where any other team probably would have lost 2 and probably lost one of the inhibitors.
ロードが来る前に仕掛けて1枚落としてっていうのは結構、定石っちゃ定石なんですけど、結構場所が怖いなって思いましたね。
as possible there.
2枠ないですよ。
Damage onto Theo there. It's just it's anybody's game. You were saying it's basically 50-50. Everything is
予選に関しては M1 から1回もないですね。M2 も招待だったんで。予選に関しては1回しかないまだ。いや、左側ね、俺も知らないんですよね。特にそのアメリカって別に日本と同じでプロチームが、プロチームというかまあプロリーグがあるわけじゃないんで。この有名な右側しか俺は知らないですね。
Lord's going to be up in about 20 seconds, though. So, Fried Chicken might be a little bit late to the party, but he's definitely going to make it for the next big objective fight. Let's see if they give the go signal here. Shark trying to get some information.
いいウルトが入ってる。
Hoggy goes in too, forcing the flicker out from Hoon.
いや、これきつそうだな。うわ、これ帰ったらでかい。うわ、うまいな、それ。これ、帰れるカリナすごいな。
Shiki's the one that falls, and now the Lord is up for the taking.
Yeah, it's up and in.
Punish going to be crucial now.
この状況。
Some information. Theo goes in with the wild charge. Hoggy goes in.
99% が死ぬでしょ、これ。すごいな。
He is a little bit out of position here. Can they get the kill? Dodges, sidesteps, but there's the fatal links. The follow-up from Basic, able to punish Vendetta. Blazing
right now. Only down about a third health, but you see the rest of the Valley coming in here trying to contest it. Might have the numbers in their advantage.
そうだ。バゼインがちゃんと入ってるから、これは半と勝負になりますね。どうなる？うわ、取って
able to get the Lord for the game, and now the chaos in the river. Immortality going to be popped here. Yuri going to be in trouble. Can't escape this one.
今のって CC とか入ってたんだな。
Just waiting in the corner. Who's going to be able to get that Lord first? Hoggy holding onto it as well. Might be holding onto it too long.
パキーとかどかしてんのか。ことか。
Just waiting in the corner. Who's going to be able to get that?
パキーとかどかしてますね。
Hoggy holding onto it as well. Might be holding onto it too long.
パキーとかどかしてリズムが狂ったって感じがないな。
And there you go, 2 fall for Vendetta.
Yeah, 2 fall, and now obviously feeling a little bit more confident is the Valley here, but you cannot count Vendetta out of this. This is a pretty decently sized and powered Lord. We are at the 21 minute mark here, so it is going to be looming. It's going to be able to do a ton of damage here if Vendetta is not careful.
1枚かけてるから。さあ、ガレックを落として、ロードがピンピンしてる。あー、テラスね。うますぎる。マジか。やばいな、そのアテラス。あー、やばいな。なんか理論値出してるぐらいの距離感だな、これ。ああ。
Shark has been waiting for the moment, and that helps them take the game here as they take game number 2, evening it out 1-1.
It's amazing that Shark. Yeah, you're right. Just like felt like he was waiting for that opportunity to catch the fatal links on 3 of them. Not only that, but the team, the Valley, ready for that fatal links and able to clean them up so quickly. It's amazing. And this is what I expected from these 2 teams, from Vendetta, from the Valley. I mean, you can't even say that the Valley dominated. It was neck and neck until those like final 50 seconds. Mobazane coming in and being able to kind of his top tier retry game, able to out retry on the side of the Valley.
ビルドっすね。
just a dominating a game, not even
特別
dominating, but
変わ
like
ったビルド
they
はあ
found
る
the
かな。
openings. They were down and out, but still able to maintain that focus, still able to maintain that composure when it came, when they needed it. Even a person down, Fried Chicken got caught early, and then had to, we were waiting for him to kind of revive there at the base, but still the Valley able to find the opening, 4v5, able to take down the Lord. With the help of Mobazane there, and then once they had that Lord, once it was past that 18 minutes, you know that Lord's powerful. You need to have an answer for it, and unfortunately, Vendetta was just a single step behind the Valley in this game.
Yeah, I mean, we already said it, right? Like, for the longest time, it was pretty neck and neck. It was very even across the board. And I feel like it just took a little bit longer for Basic to really come online there on this Brody pick. And I feel like that's one of actually one of the hard things about picking a Brody is you need that certain environment, you need that certain situation to really be able to pump out that damage because, you know, even with your spells and whatnot, like, you don't have that much mobility. You don't have, yes, you can, you know, move around situation to really come online there on this Brody pick. And I feel like that's one actually, I want to say one of the hard things about picking a Brody is you need that certain environment, you need that certain
あれかもね、その相手が成功を積んでないっていうのを見て、ヒートを積んだのかも。元から組み込まれてるかもしれないけど、まあ、成功を積んでない相手にはぶっ刺さりますからね、ヒート。シンプルに。
situation to really be able to pump out that damage because
まあ特に変わったビルドはないですね。
You don't have, yes, you can, you know, later on by the base. We mentioned private.
もう速攻でワンピック始まってる。
That ability and those sets, kind of maybe not as comfortable.
ファニーに関してはタゲマンですよと。
And probably something that was scouted out. The XP laner, Fried Chicken, has been a dominating position for the Valley. Is just so good that it's just never been a worry. And what I've seen in these last few games is that Vendetta has an answer for that. They've where against the Yuzong, I mean, maybe not losing the laning phase, but as we move into these team fights, they're able to find these pickoffs from some of these possibly a little bit more loose and lackadaisical rotations. And it's, man, what more could you ask for from the top bracket in this series, man? It's just, it's
そうね、まあプロリーグじゃないんでね。インターバルは今のとこないですね。まあリリアとまあガイは普通に OP だから消してるとバルモンドっていうファーストピック。
It's kind of boring or something, but honestly, there are players out there, and Fried Chicken's one of them. That P lane is good, you know, and at the same time, they know when to actually be easier because then you have your other stuff that you have to worry about.
マファセスは取るのかどうか。
That's the thing that I honestly think that, but go double Colt ult that maybe it can struggle, it can perform, it can shine.
ガレックマファセス。
But I think it's better because in this situation, you have a Colt ulter to help you out, right? But your last picks, especially your gold lane, what do you take? You know, they've got the Paquito there, but I think again you have to
ちゃんとディガーがバンできる状況で
Vendetta
ピックしてるって感じですね。BO5 か。
Their first 3 picks, pretty solid, right? Pretty safe. I would say it's safe and it's solid.
そう、皆さん、松田ちゃんがギフトを送ってくれました。メンバーギフト。なんかね、ランダムだったらしい。選べるもんじゃないんだね、ギフトって。
possibly lock that in again, but either way, I still want to see if we flip-flop, right? If Theo is able to play this Atlas and have a more shining early game to set the team up, because I feel like that's what they need right now.
ディガー消してないじゃん。
Well, I mean, Theo has had at least 4 matches this tournament on Atlas.
ガレックとマファセスでミッドの2枚決まってるから、ディガーはいいやみたいな感じが。
Theo has shown a lot more comfort on that Atlas, so it's something to watch out for, especially since, I mean, we don't really have a counter for it on the side of the Valley. I mean, you have that Colt Ultra that you're going to be popping out, but I mean, you have a Valentina as well on the side of the Vendetta, so I almost want to say that like it's a Colt Ultra that's canceled out because you if you have two Colt Ultras, I mean, you're basically just extending it for both teams.
っていう選択もできなくはないけど、まあどうかな、ちょっと弱い感じもするな、なんか。
That needs to have an answer for it, especially as you move out of the laning phase. Not even just out of the laning phase, because in the laning phase you can find those openings to kind of dive under tower, find the fatal links, and pull that laner back into your team. So it's going to be, man, I don't fret for these compositions in this draft pick for the Valley.
ジャングルで行くんかな。
You see Yuri picking up that Dairoth.
海外でなんかジャングルディアスってあんま見ないですよね。
That you see in that XP lane, the Uranus gets countered out by, well, I mean, Semi gets countered out just because of the damage that the burst damage that Dairoth can put out there. I still feel like Uranus kind of, as you move into the mid and late game, his mobility allows him to still cut those lanes and still and to get away in a way that Dairoth just can't chase. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they deal with it.
Carry ka.
Yeah, and so I kind of expected this gold lane pickup, you know, coming out from basic, the Aerithil, great choice to deal with the Colt Ultra on the other side. Also, I mean, I wasn't expecting the Ruby pick, but I think that can complement what they're going for here. Again, you have a lot of tools available to you to find those like owning your own engagements, not only with the Grok but the Ruby as well. But also, I feel like they're going to lack just a little bit of damage early on, and that's where we could possibly see the Vendetta shine, right? Because also they've got not only that, but the early damage jungle Paquito's going to work really well. You also have, that's the great thing about Dairoth, is even if you struggle in lane, eventually, like just the way that his kit works, that armor penetration and everything else can really help the Paquito. It complements it very well. And I think that's something that could work wonders for Vendetta in the early game, especially again, going up to what they have. And then, you know, with Yuna on the carry, it allows you to have that kind of potential to shred these tanks down mid to late game if it really happens. If it lasts. So here we are jumping in to game number 3, the Valley versus Vendetta.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned that because I was thinking about it. There is kind of a little bit of a lack, not just a lack, but kind of countered by the immense amount of damage that is on the side of Vendetta. Not just early game, but as you move into the late game with Yuna on this carry, with Shiki on this Valentina. So it's going to be very... the Valley's gonna have to be very careful about their engagements, about how they do this, because I feel like almost when it comes to team fights, they're gonna have a pretty decent lack of damage, and they're gonna need to find these picks on the side onto Vendetta if they really want to be successful here.
Yeah, what I would have loved to see is Hoon, instead of taking Mystery Shop, I would love to see like Magic Worship. We've seen some tournaments do that, and it actually ends up working well to provide a little bit of that extra magic damage early poke. But you know, Mystery Shop is great too because it allows you to itemize quicker, I guess. But I still feel like they will lack a little bit of that damage. But if they can just secure those objectives with using this Ballman specifically, you know, Mobazane will actually be able to just allow the team to play a little more safe and then profit in the mid to late game. I think that's something that they could definitely do too. And also, this is it's different, right? Not seeing a Aerithil have sprint, instead taking a Purifying, which is obviously viable because you're playing against an Atlas. It's something that a lot of people aren't used to seeing because she just works so well with the sprint built in to her kit, that Electro Flash. So a little bit on the safer side, I feel like, for the Valley here. They go back to kind of an objective-focused game, as we just saw them grab that first turtle pretty much cleanly. And right now, just farming up, you know, playing as safe as possible. The goal here is to really just try to get to that mid-game power spike, especially for basic. It will take a little bit longer, I feel like. carry can get there kind of sooner. So at some point within the next few minutes, we're going to see Vendetta looking for those sets, looking forward to actually press the issue on the Valley.
Yeah, and the interesting thing here is too, especially Hoon, he's going to have to be very careful about those shadow stampedes. I'm offended here. I'm the Yuri. He does take damage from that tower. Mobazane here competing against 2 members for that lethal wanderer, but gets pulled a very we do see a lethal counter come out, but then gets pulled by Theo with that fatal link. So a great play by them, and I'm not sure what Mobazane was looking for there. Unfortunately, did not find it. You see Hoon coming in with a cult altar. He is by himself there, unfortunately, is going to be taken out by Pogi, and man, already 1 and 2 for the side of Vendetta.
Yeah, and off camera, you know, Fried Chicken able to get the kill there on Yuri. Yuri actually survived for quite some time. There goes Pogi on the bottom side. Trying to get the kill on Fried Chicken. 2 members still going, so they're not able to get that. Also, cross map play on the top side can't convert into anything either. So again, you know, the past minute, yeah, Mobazane a little bit question mark there. You know, what was he really trying to accomplish? Gets fatal linked into the turret. That's a feels bad. And at the same time, again, you just need to scale into this mid game, right? Scale into it, continue to focus on the objectives. That's the best case scenario for them. But like I said, Vendetta, man, they do have a vendetta, and they want to go ahead and force these situations, these uncomfortable situations for the Valley, which is exactly what we're going to see Theo do here proactively on this Atlas. So Fried Chicken does go down the bottom side.
Yeah, but Mobazane able to kind of answer that back, but all the while, Pogi and the rest of Vendetta able to kind of zone out the rest of the Valley, pick up that turtle. Oh, nice wild charge, does latch on to Yuna, who is in trouble, is going to get taken down here by Basic, so they are able to answer it up and tie up the game here. And this is tied. Everything from kills to gold right back at Vendetta as they are starting to get more gold from Basic on this top turret.
ボスはどうなのかな。ボスとして出てるかわかんないですけど、ボスのメンバーは出てます。ここのフーンとかベーシックとか。チームボスとして出てるかはちょっと知らないですね。出てるのかな。
Having that Clock of Destiny, that'll help him scale. Like I was mentioning, you know, in terms of scaling, he's got to be able to provide a little bit of that poke damage, the magic damage. But at the same time, you're just really waiting. You're allowing Basic to get online here for this Irithyll. Now, still, damage department is in favor of Vendetta, as we're seeing.
Yeah, we do see I'm offended on the Yuri, who does get baited into a fight here, but Fried Chicken does get taken out there. Fatal Links does connect onto Mobazane, who's fighting off 3 members. Is he going to be able to get away here? We see that Cole Alter activated. Is going to go ahead and use that to dive in. Mobazane actually able to get out. Cole Alter of their own is going to be able to save Mobazane there, but at the top, you see the damage and the tower going down for Vendetta. So, I mean, able to answer it back. It is 3-4 in favor of Vendetta, and both teams trading their first tower.
See, I feel like this one probably more calculated by both teams, right? But
いや、予選はね、あれですよ、端末指定とか多分ないですね。
wild charge does pop them up, and then that shadow stampede pulling them, dropping them low, but not able to capitalize on what we were talking about earlier. Doesn't they kind of lack a little bit of damage, especially in this early game, to be able to capitalize on this? Sorry to try to put the pressure onto this. Their macro is top right now, opening it up for Mobazane to go ahead and start on this turtle. So I mean, a great job by the Valley right now. Is going to be able to find that opening to get there, but a little bit. I was about to say an engagement there, but Theo thought twice about it. Backing off there.
わかんない。多分これオンラインの試合なんですよ。オンラインで端末指定があるかちょっとわかんないんですよね。
Not so much looking for fights
日本はさ、その M1 のオフライン大会 M1 の予選のベスト4はオフラインだったんで、指定端末があったんですけど、オンラインだとないんじゃないかな。
Oh yeah,
もちろんあれですよ。
another
そ
cult
の
altar by
本戦
Shiki to go ahead and top him off.
M4
Cult
本戦
altar
は
of the on the side of the valley.
iPad
Then
は絶対ダメなんですけ
pop
ど。
them up. Shiki in a little bit of trouble. Does get taken out there. Yuri follows closely behind.
そうね、
And
ちょっ
now
とっす
Theo
ね。
trying to disengage. Not sure if he's gonna be
こ
able to
れ
get
は
a
マジ
ball.
で
Is
有
gonna
利だ
cut
から
him
な。
off, but is gonna be able to use that
視界が
to
広
get
いもん。
away. Is Theo right now in a great position? Are the Valley able to pick up 2 kills there?
So going, I mean, that's the thing, right? If the Valley is
そうなんだ。
finding
チームゴーストとして
picks
一
here
応
and
出て
there,
るんだ。
that's actually great for them because they, I mean, this early on, it should be Vendetta that's finding those early kills, those skirmishes that are in their favor. But at this point, you know, they've given up some key objectives that they really haven't been able to contest. That's why that first Lord of the game is going to be so kind of crucial for them. You can see already Shiki trying to get that Cult Altar as he does set up for it because in 30 seconds, it's going to be up here. Now, the question is, are they in position itemization wise, damage department wise to actually contest it? Because again, MOBA Zane, he's just been
あ、そうです
free
ね。
farming, right? He's been in free farm mode. He's quite tanky himself, and they're going to be looking to assert that position in that Lord pit,
バレンテの方が
forcing Vendetta
カリス
actually
マ
to
ン詰め
pull
る
the
ヒーロー
trigger
なん
here,
で、
which
クー
again
ルが早いんです
they
よ
could
ね。
because that's what
そこの利
Theo's
点があ
job
る。
is, right? He is the one. He does have that flicker available, so we could expect a flicker fatal link combo. The downside is Theo's not that tanky yet himself, right? That's one of the things about Atlas is you have an amazing set potential, but at the same time, if the damage is there from the other team, you're kind of going to get melted in the process, right? So that's why you rely so much on that Cult Altar copy from Shiki,
ガレック
and
ね、
hopefully
マ
you
ジ
come
強い
out
っす
on top,
ね。
still alive from there.
マジ
So
で
as
強
we
い。
see them kind of just push and pull between this Lord, we've got also both XP laners pushing on the top side, trying to put some pressure there. And right now, it's just going to be a 4v4 here for the first Lord of the game.
Yeah, and starting to kind of flank around are going to go ahead and start pushing these lanes here, which is interesting. Looks like both teams are kind of baiting it out, looking who's going to draw it in. Balmond is picking up a decent amount of damage from Pogi there. Theo not able to find the stun onto them. Is going to go ahead and back off, and they know that they're in this bush waiting to kind of find a good position. And it looks like both of them are going to go ahead and reset on the map. Oh, but it looks like we're already going to go ahead and start on here. Already wasted by Hoon, so this is going to be a little bit of trouble here as we start this Lord. Is this the fight you really want? You don't have the Cult Altar anymore. You are a player down, so it's essentially a 4v5, and they have a Cult Altar of their own right now. So it's going to be very interesting. Their Cult Altar has been wasted, right? Or has been used right now. Super Shark coming in here right now, trying to put on the damage. We see this Lord is down to about 25% health. Super Shark able to pick up the kill onto Theo right now. Picks up this first Lord, but it looks like the rest of Vendetta is on the run, and Mobazane and them not able to go ahead and pick up those kills. But at the bottom here, you see Yuna getting taken out as well. Kind of shades of last game when the Valley was picking up these Lords, but losing 2 or 3 players in those skirmishes.
ディアスが入っていくが、
Yeah,
リスキが2
and they still got Yuri down there. I'm not sure why he stayed there.
すいません。
I should have tried to disengage, but you know, they lose a couple members. Yeah, like you mentioned, they grab the Lord, but at what cost, right? I mean, it's great to get it, but it's just going to be taken care of. It is only a normal one. They're going to lose turret after turret here. So right now, Vendetta backs against the wall. There's the 2K gold lead as well for the Valley. And so now they have this small momentum. And Basic is sitting pretty on 3-0-2, right? And he doesn't have to do too much, honestly, because right now, whether it's Hoon or it's fried chicken or shark, they're finding actually the angles they need to find the setups, right? That's what the Valley is doing. And at the same time, even when they took out Hoon before that fight, it still ended up working out in their favor. Like Hoon got back in time and helped turn that tide, right? Because as you saw, Theo took a ton of damage before the live fight. And yes, Poggy has it too, as he goes for Mobazane.
Yeah, Mobazane gonna be taken out here. Fly Chicken gonna expend that flicker to get away from the other fight. But yeah, exactly what I was saying. Oh, Theo in trouble, wild card, just a bamboozlement into that bush and getting taken out there. Does a Theo? They are still continuing the press on here. Putting on the pressure onto Shiki as you see this middle lane being pushed in right now, and they are going to go ahead, reset on the map. Still 74 seconds left on this Lord though, and the problem is that it almost kind of is a false sense of security when you take out Hoon and think you have the advantage. I even got duped out because I was like, it's a 4v5. No, it's not, because Hoon, the passive on that Faramis means that he's going to be up right away, still able to come back in and use that Cold Alter. Oh, Shark's in a little bit of trouble here. He's going to have to use that wild charge to get away.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Again, going back to Vendetta here specifically, right? They have great damage. They have great toolkits here. It's I think they just need to buy some more time. They also not only need to buy some more time to let Yuna catch up, because Yuna's been struggling this game. They also need to just not get, misplaced, because that's what's happening. That's what the Valley is doing. And again, it's allowing just basic to pretty much free hit, right, on this Irithil. So that's the tough spot that Vendetta's in. Not only that, going back to the fact, even when we got a chance to look at the items here, Theo, he just for some reason he's taking a ton of damage. So his job is literally to get those fatal links off and then hope that his team can profit off it. Because as soon as Theo is gone, you don't have a tank. You don't. You have a Cold Alter. That's it, right? So it's a little bit tougher for them. When on the other side, the Valley has not only how tanky Mobazane is.
持ってく。これかっこ撃破できたらマジででかい。
They make quick work of him, does Vendetta, which means that they do
い
not
や
have
ーどう
a
だ視界が取れてないのにちょっと
for this next Lord. And this is essentially a 5v4 right now. Vendetta in a great position here. Shark biding his time right now. Not sure if they have a plan in mind. You see them coming out. Cold Alter has been activated, but he's still able to pick up that Lord. Cold Alter activated. Is it going to be enough for the side of Vendetta? They are putting on the damage. Take down basic there. And unfortunately, that is 2 down for the side of the Valley, and a Lord going over to their side as well. Still trying to put on the pressure here. They might just want to think about disengaging, thinking about that defense as they reset on the map here. Still put on the pressure here. Theo comes in with a nice fatal links onto Fly Chicken. Almost as Yuri puts on the damage. Down goes Fly Chicken. Still has 2 out of the game right now. Essentially a 3v5 right now. The Valley cannot find an answer. Hoon gets taken out there. Mobazane running for his life is trying to get out of here. Shark trying to slow up and secure this escape for them. And that is going to be a tower up at the top. You see the Luminous Lord is going to go ahead and charge. Make short work of that tower. Starting to come in right now. Mobazane going to go ahead and try to put some damage on ahead of his inhibitor tower. And it might put them in a bad position here. Pogi is hiding in, lying in wait, but the rest of the Vendetta is kind of waiting. And you see that they go ahead and use that Sentinel to get vision there, which lets them know there was nobody else there, and Pogi going ahead and disengaging.
Yeah, so when things get messy, they get messy quick, and that's how I see. When the Valley is, when pressure is put on the Valley, that's where most of their mistakes come from, right? And a lot of the time, Vendetta is just being more patient, and that's exactly what we see them doing. And that's why what led up to that Lord take was they were patient, waiting in that bush. Theo was able to get the setup on Mobazane, right? Use that fatal links, and then eventually snowballed from that to the Lord to finding another fatal link on the tier 1 turret, and things just kind of started falling.
自信があったりとか、理由があって取ってるはずなんで、慣れてないってことはないと思う。
Like slow down, recollect, and then
OP だから取ろうっていう
not
ヒーローでもない
go
から。
kind of haphazardly looking into bushes, right? Face checking, going here and there. Not to say Mobazane face check, but he is quite tanky, right? That's why you have the Ballman. But you don't expect that there's 3 members of Vendetta, just like now.
ちょっと怖い感じはするけど。
Yeah, he does get pulled in with that fatal link. He's going to make sure here comes the wild charge. Is going to take down Mobazane. So he's caught again. Here comes the. We see that Cold Alter comes out there. I'm offended. Pulls in Theo. They take him down. Another wild charge onto Yuri. Who's trapped behind the wall. Moon takes him out as well. So we are starting to move. They do lose Mobazane, but they collect 2 kills.
Is actually just not go falling for the Valley. So they've kind of got to actually snowball from
ガレックがここで一回下に視界が映った。
another fatal link on the tier 1 turret, and things
誰
just
か
kind
ガレッ
of
クが下
started
にいるっていうのは分か
falling
って
for the
て、
Valley. So they've kind of
ガ
got
レックが
to
下にいるの分かってからあれ
recollect
か、
here, right? Like
バルモンド狙い
slow
に行ったか
down,
今。
recollect, and then actually just not go kind of haphazardly looking into bushes,
ガレ
right?
ック
Face
が多分
checking,
下にいるのが
going
見
here
えてん
and
のかな
there.
これ。
Not to say Mobazane face check, but you know, he is quite tanky, right? That's why you have the Ballman. But you don't expect that there's 3
マップに映
members
った感あるな
of
下
Vendetta.
で
Just like now, they're going to be looking to
こ
get
こ
him
で持
again.
ってかれると
Yeah, he does get pulled in with that fatal link. So he's going to make short work. Here comes the wild charge. He's going to take down Mobazane. So he's caught again. Here comes the. We see that Call Alter comes out there. The Item Defender pulls in Theo. They take him down. Another wild charge onto Yuri, who's trapped behind the wall. Hoon takes him out as well. So we are starting to move. They do lose Mobazane, but they collect 2 kills of their own. Are not going to be able to make anything else happen with them, as the rest of Vendetta is going to go ahead and disengage. And you are just so correct when it comes to these mistakes, these checks, these kind of getting caught out alone. This is not the team to be making those types of mistakes. Here, Pogi is going to go ahead and get that immortality tap and taken down as well. So now we have 3 kills unanswered for the side of Vendetta. Are they going to be able to do anything to kind of stave off this? We have minions coming in here, making short work of this. Shredded. Here comes the fatal links onto Hoon. We have the Cole Alter. Do we? We don't. Cole Hoon gets taken out. Basic trying to run away. It's not going to be enough. A misplaced wall by Shark as he gets taken out as well. It is just Mobazane left. And man, I don't know what he has here. It doesn't look like the rest of Vendetta is going to go ahead and wait or try for this Lord. They're going to go ahead and just push. They have some minions on their side. Hoon is back up, so it is a 2v4. But I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. You see Hoon coming in, does think twice about trying to protect that. We are down to inhibitors on the side of the Valley. Yuri not able to put the damage on the Mobazane, who is trying. They're going to be able to take down this minion, and I'm not sure how. I mean, you get a tower, but you kind of lose the advantage you had for this Lord. No, they're shredding that. So, nice.
They're
持っていく
wondering the same thing. There's the fatal links.
なんかちょっとデス的な感じがするけどな、なんか見てて
he's in a world of hurt. They just Mobazane is having a large amount of trouble on this Balmon, just getting caught going in the bushes that especially against Theo. Find these fatal links and just unanswered by Mobazane, who's just, like I said, kind of out there alone.
世界大会で無双したジャングラーだからさ、そんななんか上から言える話じゃないんだけど、まあまあなんか見た感じはなんかもしこのバルモンドがモバゼインじゃなくてなんか知らない人だったらこいつと先般だろっていうような感じするのよどうだろうねなんか本当になんかモバゼインじゃなかったらすげえボロクソ言われてるようななんか感じに見えちゃうんだよね
It's going to have to be a great defense coming out from the Valley as the Lord charges up.
Yeah, it's coming in there. It's going to be one more swing on this bottom inhibitor tower. Is going to go ahead and drop it. The rest of the Vendetta is going to go ahead and try to push in these lanes. And I think that might be it for the side of the Valley. They are going to go ahead and be able to defend this.
パワーを攻めるときはあれっすね、その相手のヘルスを削ってからの集団戦ができないんで、押し込む力っていうのはお互い弱いっすね。今のも多分ポークがいたら、僕がいたらね、川のところにダメージ出せて、から当てらせて入れるんで、決めきるの難しそうだな、お互い。
resource taken away, but at the same time, there's nothing really up here that they can prioritize other than the base, right? Try to punch down a turret if they can. It's still going to be a while for that Lord to come up here for the game. They also, it was a good thing that Vendetta held on to that bottom inhibitor turret for so long. Looking for a setup.
Yeah, they still find Mobazane, who is taking a heap of damage from Yuna on this carry. Oh, he still gets taken out by...
to punch down a turret if they can. It's still going to be a while for that Lord to come up here for the game. They also, it was a good thing that Vendetta held on to that bottom inhibitor turret for so long, but here, looking for a setup.
Yeah, they still find Mobazane, who is taking a heap of damage from Yuna on this carry. Oh, he still gets taken out.
For so long, but here, looking for a setup.
Yeah, they still find Mobazane, who is taking a heap of damage from Yuna on this carry. Oh, he still gets taken out by Yuna.
そうだよな。ガレックは
It's still going to be a while for that Lord to come up here for the game.
ちゃんとこのアテラスが入ってくる、このラインがあって、その裏に対しての後をかけようと一応できる位置にはいるから、 まあでも
Yeah,
こ
they
れ
still
は
find Mobazane, who is taking a heap of damage from Yuna on this carry. Oh, he still gets taken out by Yuna as those last bits of auto attack still find Mobazane, even though he was able to kind of dash out of the way. And now again, Zane 1-6-5. This is almost unheard of. Is him almost, I don't want to say the weak link of the team, but he's been getting caught an awful lot for the side of the valley, which is really kind of setting up these engagements. We do still have minions pushing in here. Looks like the Vendetta, we have a concealed play in here. Atlas not able to find the stun, but you do have minions crashing in here. Fied Chicken is trying to stave it off, trying to be that front line. Hoon coming in, Theo comes in, finds the fatal links, and here comes the cult altar. Is it going to be enough as a wild charge comes out? Theo gets taken out. Hoon able to take down Poggy. Shiki gets taken down as well. This might be a little bit of trouble. Fly Chicken coming in.
いやこれは
For that CC onto Yuna is still trying to put on the damage. Basic is going to go ahead and take down that immortality up at the top. Yuri and Hoon battling it out, trying to juke. I think Hoon's just trying to kind of keep it busy up here. We have a core push right now by the
なんであれ攻めちゃったんだ今のどういう状況だった
Atlas not able to find the stun, but you do have minions crashing in here. Five Chicken is trying to stave it off, trying to be that front line. Hoon coming in, putting on the damage. Theo comes in, finds the fatal links, and here comes the cult altar. Is it going to be enough as a wild charge comes out? Theo gets taken out. Hoon stave it off, trying to be that front line. Hoon coming in, putting on the damage. Theo comes in, finds the fatal links, and here comes the cult altar. Is it going to be enough as a wild charge comes out? Theo gets taken out. Hoon able to take down that front line. Hoon coming in, putting on the damage. Theo comes in, finds the fatal links, and here comes the cult altar. Is it going to be enough as a wild charge comes out? Theo Chicken is trying to stave it off, trying to be that front line. Hoon coming in, putting on the damage. Theo comes in, finds the fatal links, and here comes the cult altar. Is it going to be enough as a wild charge comes out? Theo gets taken out. Hoon able to take that front line. Hoon coming in, putting on the damage. Theo comes in, finds the fatal links, and here comes the stun, but you do have minions crashing in here. Fied Chicken is trying to stave it off, trying to be that front line. Hoon coming in, putting on the damage. Theo comes in, finds the fatal links, and here comes the cult altar. Is it going to be enough as a wild charge comes out? 本当だママセスのとこパクったけどガレックのウルトがもろに入ってるわバレンティナにそういうことかじゃあもう左がお見事なやつだこれいやそれさすげえ悔やまれるなこれ
エレシルの位置好きもバカにできない火力あるしなあれんと4枚
固まってたからガレックのウルトはもろに入ってましたね打ち上がったのが何枚かいてっていうモバセインに見えたモバセインじゃねえやジェネラルに見えた
10 seconds until the next new one sword. Why not just get the luminous sword, you know? And then they could have just won the game, but instead they want to dive onto the high ground and just ended the game right there. And
なん
that's
かマファのスキルめっちゃ入ってたよねダメージ
Take a deep breath.
案の定っすね案の定なんかマファの2スキめっちゃ入ってんなと思ったら相手ね魔法積んでないわ魔法積んでねえっすじゃあこれがあるとマファの火力バカになんないんですよね積んでないですね
And just calm down, relax, and think about like the next game. Really take it slow. They have what it takes. It's just come down to staying calm.
Yeah, an amazing here. You see Basic here going ahead and snatching up that MVP. You can even see in the stats here, getting Vendetta had the damage on their side. What is amazing to me is the fact that they were only 30k damage behind Vendetta, despite not really having the damage on their side. Really, Hoon coming in there toward the late game with that. With the damage on his side, with that Faramis. So it's amazing to me how well they performed. It didn't feel like it was they had the damage on their side. Especially early or late game. And man, just an amazing game played by both here.
3枚が
I mean, I don't even know how to do
なんで
analysis on
産業
this
量
game,
と
to
き
be
ついってあるかな。
honest. The damage is so close, entire kills
キー
is
ト
so
は
close. Again, it's
全
just
部
back
言ってる
and
からわ
forth,
かんねえや。
right? It's just who make the least mistake.
どういうあれだったん
I
か。
mean, I don't even know how to.
Like it
アテラスやっ
was,
ぱウルト早かった
they
からフ
had
リ
the
ティにも
damage
積ん
on
で
their
ますね。
side, especially early or late game. And man, just an amazing gameplay by both here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know how to do analysis on this game, to be honest.
返される
The
と思わ
damage
ん
is
か
so
った。
close, entire kills is so close. Again, it's just back and forth, right? It's just who make.
With that, with the damage on Hisano, with that Faramis. So it's just it's amazing to me how well they performed, especially with a comp that
基本的に
it didn't
ロー
feel
ムの防具
like
っ
it
て、
was
も
they
う
had
こ
the
のロー
damage
ムに
on
対
their
して
side,
何の
especially
ダメージが
early
一
or
番
late
通るかなん
game.
で、もしかしたらバレンティナが
Man, just an
め
amazing
ちゃめちゃ
gameplay
ガレック
by
に圧
both
かけて
here.
たのかも。
Yeah.
で、
I mean, I don't
こ
even know
の
how
物
to
理
do
の、
analysis on
まあ、
this
キャ
game,
リ
to
ー
be
とか、
honest. The damage is so
なんだ
close, entire kills is so
ディアス
close.
が
Again,
そ
it's
んなに
just
入っ
back
て
and
きてない
forth,
から、
right? It's just who make the
踏んでなかっ
least
たのかもしれない。
mistake seem to win that series. Look at this engages here. This is a quick save, by the way. If I'm
悔やまれる敗戦ですね。
But I feel like from both of
メ
these
ンタルやられないか
teams,
心配
I've
だな。
seen more mistakes here than I have from these teams
な
in
ん
the
か明らかに勝ちムードで
entirety
さ
of、this in the entirety of NACT right now. And I'm
特
not
別なん
sure
か
if
ミス
it's
った当たり
because
方
they're
でも
not
ないの
used
に
to
なん
the
か負けちゃったか
aggression.
ら、
And I'm not sure if
響
you
きそうだよ
feel
ね。なん
that
か
way as well, but like it definitely feels like they're
アテラスが
they're
なん
evenly
か
matched, but
仕
not
掛
to
け
the
たの
point
全然
where
悪くない
like
し、今
it's just the teams, it's the mistakes that are kind of keeping both teams in here.
4対5で人数差つけれてて。
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you actually say that because that was my personal thought before because I remember
まあでもまあ切り替えて
even
いくで
before
しょ
game one happened, I was like, you know,
強えわ
both teams
左。
have
何者なんだろうこ
they
れ。
obviously have made mistakes.
め
If
ち
you
ゃめちゃ
watch
強くない
the
左側。
tournament, right? And I have been watching the tournament, and it's like for some reason there's like more mistakes happening in this matchup than the whole tournament for their individual matches. So I don't know exactly, you know, what's happening, but I will say that when things get chaotic, that's where I feel like both of these teams kind of like things get a little messy. Like it's like they're trying to make that chaos work for them, but things end up not working out and everything kind of just falls apart, and whoever comes out on top, you know, wins. It's kind of like just throwing that dice and being like, oh, okay, we got the upper hand in this fight. Next one here, we're gonna throw this dice. We got the upper hand here. Now,
メリッサ
I
絶
think
対
that's
バンされ
just
てるな。
again, it can go to the band there. They also, you know, Vendetta doesn't want to give up that Melissa, the
あ、賞
Julian
金、
who
賞金
we
賞金ってかあれ
even
か。
talked about before. It was Dave that said, you know, was for
どん
quite
く
a
らいも
while
らえ
was
るんだ
the
ろう。
king. You know, was very strong and picked a lot, but he is going to be banned out here. So we'll see what priority is going to be for Vendetta as we wait for that last man.
Yeah, man. You said it well. It's
どうなんだろうね。
anybody who says that, oh, obviously the Valley have it, or obviously
今
Vendetta
の
have
と
it,
ころ
I
ね、
call them a liar. Like these games are so
ガイと
close, just with
リ
especially
リ
with
ア
how these fights
と
are going
メ
on,
リッ
and
サ、こ
especially
の3枚
that
がもう
game
絶対に
2
バンされ
where
てるって感じですね。
Vendetta was pretty much in a dominating position for most
で、
of the game,
ファーストクラ
and
ウ
then
ド。
suddenly
これは
the
第2
Valley
戦
able
も
to come and come back
同じくこの左側の
clench
チー
that
ム、
victory. It's been back and forth, and
左側のチーム
honestly,
は絶対にクラウドファーストで取ってる。
if you're one of these team members, you want to have a talk with your team right now because you cannot depend on 50-50. You cannot depend on chance. And you said it right, like where they seem like they're just kind of rolling the dice out there. They're just like, all right, everybody just clash in. Whoever gets the Lord, I guess. You know, it's
Roll
kind of
D20.
these clashes.
今ブラジルの方のなんかコミュニティ大会で出るんじゃないですか
and
ね。
that's kind of a problem almost for both of these teams is that it
確かブラジルで
does
すよ
kind
ね。
of feel
あん
like
まサ
it's
ッカー
up
知ら
to
ないんだけど。
chance, and it doesn't. It's not as satisfying a victory. I mean, it's great for us to watch. Don't get me wrong. It's but for the teams, it's not as. You definitely want to talk with them, kind of find out where these shortcomings are coming from, because those are just not the type of
なんかね、
engagements
ツイー
that
トして
you
たんで、
want, where
騒が
you're
れてます
kind
ね
of。just like
あ、バレンティ
closing
ナ
your
と
eyes and just
パ
throwing
キート。
damage out and hoping that we can get this. Nothing that like
まあ
it's
パ
not
キートに
actually
関しては
at
もう
that
開くんだったら
degree,
絶対
but it
取るよみ
does
たい
feel
な
like
感じ
it
です
doesn't
ね。
really feel like either team has an
後半に
advantage
取られ
when
た
we're
りっていうの
going
は絶
into
対な
these
い。も
engagements.
う
People getting caught
バン
out.
されることもないんだけど、なんか
And
前半には絶対取られて
the
る。
people lose getting lost
そう
as they get a
Cyneric
turret
だ。
or as they get the Lord or the turtle. So, but as we see here, the Valence team are going to be picked up by Hoon again.
Baru Mondo.
Focusing on that Paquito, answered
どうだ
on
ろ
the
う
side
か。
of
こ
Vendetta
こ
here
で
by that
ア
Claude
テ
again,
ラスを
by
取るのかどうか。
Pogi, picking up
あ
that
ー、リアス。
Belmont, and then of course
そう
as
ね、リアスは、
which is going to be
え
answered
ー、
by Fly
エス
Chicken
メの
on
カウン
that
ターなん
Dyroth.
で、 まあここでアテラストルかディアストルかの選択を迫られてたみたいな感じですね。
part of the valley that was like, come on guys, pick Fairness, right? I mean, we showed the Valentina, we picked the Valentina, but right now,
まあディアス取れないとね、ちょっと S 名しんどいところありますからね。
or if they just forego it, completely, that could possibly happen here too. But already a solid choice on both sides, I feel like, for both teams.
アテラスは熱いですね。
Yeah, and that's interesting too.
その代わりアテラス取るんだったらディガーを絶対バンしなきゃいけないんですけど。だから強いとはいえ、ファーストピックしたりとかっていうのはまあできるヒーローじゃないですね。ディガーが消えてる状況だったりとか、まあ、ディガーが取られないっていうことが分かってないと取れない。
Well, I don't know if they're going to be picking it up. Maybe have a different game. And was that the one with Fanny? The game they played against Fanny where they had Valentina and Faramis? I can't remember how exactly. That's why I said like these games have been so close. It's hard to pick out like it's not been dominating. We're like, oh yeah, they were just from start to finish dominating absolutely, and you knew that win was coming. All of these games have been so close. It's right down to the last few seconds, that final push. Then you're like, oh, they finally have it. It's been kind of coming in clutch here. You do see both Atlas and Diggy being taken out on the side of the valley here, though, as well.
Yeah. So. I wonder why, you know, banning out the Diggy here, I don't think is absolutely necessary, but you know, they actually ban out quite a few roamers, so they want to really narrow down those options for Theo specifically. But at the same time, they could just be, I mean, Theo could possibly just end up picking the Grok again. I feel like overall that's probably the highest priority in terms of roams that they could play around with, or we see Vendetta going ahead and focusing on the gold lane. They really want to narrow it down for basic here. That's what I was going to say. You know, the Grok is open, and with him being the biggest priority, as we saw those roam bans coming out, they wanted to snag that. So the Valley, with the lineup that they already have, disregarding, you know, whatever basic decides to pick here,
確かにな、ガレックで仕掛けたところ、クラウドを止めようとしたところ、リガーヌルトで無効化されちゃうとたまったもんじゃないかな。
especially if Mobazen can already get that early snowball factor in the jungle on this Paquito. Now the same thing across the board, depending on what this fourth pick is here, actually these last two picks for them. I mean, Ballman, we've been hitting this nail constantly, right? It's a great choice, very safe. You can lock down objectives. But here we go, right? The Fairness does come out, by the way. So they still like the Fairness, right? The matchup, the Fairness Valentina matchup is still going to be there. So I feel like they have great potential. What I'm wondering again is, you know, early game wise, does Vendetta keep up with the onslaught?
週に関してはずっとバンされてたんで、ちょっと気になりますね。
Yeah,
マジでずっとバンされてたから。
I think that's well, it depends. You want to talk about early game, you want to talk about late game, but I feel like for me right now the big bold print is about these rotations, about getting caught out, which is, like I said, it's something unseen. Maybe it's just great positioning. Both of these teams have just not dealt with that great of positioning by their enemies.
逆に取られることもできる。バレンティナ側からしたらマファセスのウルトパクんないと勝負にならないから、シューのウルトパクったりとかそういうのできないよっていう感じですね。相手の行動を制限できるっていう意味では全然いいピックなんじゃないかなと思います。
On that, which I know Zane, like we said before, has struggled on, but this is game 4, potentially
もういきなり気になったのはクラウドが洗礼じゃなくてアサルトこっすね。大丈夫かそれ。
Yeah, which is crucial, right? Because you know,
大丈夫か。ハキートとガレックしばかれないからそれ。
Which is going to be a huge thing just in general, and at the same time, whoever does lose still technically has that second life, right? They could still
エスメとディアス対面がかなりの不利対面だから、シューが先に EXP カバーに行って EXP の有利取られないようにしてる動きが。そしてあれか、シューが 州が、ミニオン吸ってるんで、レベル2マクロですね。
And I love to see NA players play Cho because you guys have even your own notable
ロームはお互いに自由に動いてる。
section inspired players. So I want to see how this all plays out for them, and at the same time, how they utilize this Faramis pick. And exactly how they want to play around that.
いや、これは
going to be the focus. He gets
ま
trapped on the
たま
wall.
た
Poggy the one to go down here first.
きついな。パキートン本当火力高いからな、最初。
Just a wonderful
今のは
play
コリツ
there
も発動
by
してたんじゃないか
Shark.
な、おそらく。
Gets trapped on the wall. So I want to see how this all plays out for them, and at the same time, how they utilize this Faramis
戦例
pick.
はね、なんか
And exactly
良いところもあるんだけど、
how they wanna play around
コリ
it.
ツ
But
発
already
動
on
して
the
るな、
bottom
これ。
side, it's going to be the focus. He gets trapped on the wall. Poggy the
ま
one
あ、
to
シ
go
ュート
down
して
here
も守れる
first.
もんじゃないか
Blood
らな、今の。
secured by the Valley.
Just a wonderful play there by Shark. That Jikundo came on that Shark didn't even panic, didn't even use his passive to try to negate that. Just threw up a wall and then swooped in, created that opening for Zane to come in. But another engagement here up at top.
あ、とはいえやばそう。
He's going to be trying his
さあ、
best
どうな
here
るか。
to be one versus
こ
two.
のディアスがちょっとしんどそうなフラッシュ。
Quite a bit damage. Flickers
いや、
down
惜し
there
い
just in
な、
time.
それは。
It is Yuri that kind of went in deep, but still going to be
あ
able to survive.
届くのか、
Has that
届
sprint
く。
available. Never mind.
あー、マファセスのウルトが
Zane
初。
that comes in with 1-2 punches.
痛い、それ。
Grab kill. Now Turtle for the taking here. They're in a good position, but he did have to use that retribution, so he doesn't have it available here. He's got to be careful.
痛いな。
Poggy going to go ahead and start this one up. This could
バ
possibly
レン
just
テ
go
ィ
in
ナ
the
のウル
hands
トは
of
もう開くの
Vendetta.
か。
Unless the Valley has
パ
something
ク
to
ってはい
say
るけ
about
ど、
it.
ウ
They
ルトの
push
マー
them
クが出てない。
completely back here. Super Shark actually able to just zone everyone out here. Mobazane still just waiting patiently, not even going to need the
バレンティナフ
retribution,
ラッ
so
シュ切った部屋
securing
どこの場面
that
だろう。
objective as well for the Valley.
That was so interesting to me. I guess they oh my god, Yuri gets taken out here, blasted by Mobazane. But like to be pushed out there, especially when I felt like they had the advantage if they had kind of latched onto that Lord before Mobazane came in, especially because Pogi, well, I guess Pogi didn't have his retry up. He still had the lethal counter. Very interesting there, but a great push there by the Valley to go ahead and zone them out and get that capture that Turtle.
I mean, the biggest factor for Vendetta is, again, with what they have drafted, they in the fighting department early game, they kind of lack that damage. Especially, you have to consider the fact that Mobazane has early kills, right? And this is what I was saying in the draft. I said, if Mobazane on this juggle Paquito can get these early kills, the damage is already there. But then it gets scarier, right? Because we saw him play it previously in the series too, with the same effect. He was snowballing on the Paquito. And here we go. This is going to be some action on the bottom side. Is there. Can they get the kill? Basic trying to do his best to survive. Flickers out. Able to actually stay alive here. What a play, able to survive the 1 versus 3. And now we see Mobazane trying to assert dominance in the jungle. Pogi, though, should have been able to secure that. Did use that lethal counter and the retribution.
And that's the unfortunate part about an early game.
In the jungle, Pogi able to actually stay alive here. What a play, able to survive.
Finds an escape there with the flicker and the disengage there. So I mean, that's not going to happen. You see that Demon Hunter sword being picked up now, so potentially it's going to be able to even this up if they do find another gank onto basic there. Fly Chicken and Mobazane coming in on Yuri though.
Yuri actually able to survive. It's fried chicken that gets taken out. So again, sometimes, forcing situations, it doesn't work out for you and you end up going down, giving up a kill here to Vendetta. Now the second turtle of the game is going to be up. See if they can actually secure this one. Yuna going to get forced down the lane a little bit here. Who's going to pull the trigger on this one? There's the stun, though. It's going to be secured by Poggy, but they're still going to continue on with the fight. Super Shark quite low. Can they grab the kill? The cold coffee was there. No one going down just yet. Basic firing off from the backside. Here comes Yuri, though, trying to join the party. Still, nobody goes down, but the turtle is secured.
Yeah, very interesting and very patient game played by both of these teams. Fly Chicken putting on the damage there is going to have to disengage, and we take a look at these items. We already talked about it before. Demon Hunter Sword being picked up by Yuna there as well. On the other side there, that endless battle has been picked up. We do have a little bit of defense started by Basic on this Clint. So both marksmen kind of in an even position, just a little bit ahead is this Clint right now, but not by anything too notable.
最近よく見る。ドレッドじゃなくてなんかこっちの。
There you go. Flicker initiation coming out already. Yuna taking quite a bit of damage, but the kick there to help him out. Can Theo
ビルドばっか見てたわ。ああ、そういうことか。
Yeah, and there you go. Flicker initiation coming out already. Yuna taking quite a bit of damage, but the kick there to help him out.
やっぱりこういう場面だとね、先に当たった方が有利取るのが多いですよね。だからやっぱ先手取れるのって大事なんだ。
Try to get a kill, can't though with the lethal counter. So again, another push-pull here on the bottom side. No one going down, but a lot of resources committed. And now on the top side, Moba's
パキートがうまい。
as clean as it can be as Yuri falls.
徹底的に S で潰しにいってるね。
Yeah, and I mean, I want to say a much cleaner game by both of them. These kills happening. I mean, there's not much you can do when you're getting dived under tower, trying to against two members from the Valley there. But I feel like a much cleaner game being played by both of these teams. However, Valley in a very controlling position here right now. Just able to find these windows here. Oh,
マファーのダメ押しのウルトどうだろうか。ここのウルトは必要だったんか。もしかしたらガレックとかキートのヒールが来るのを警戒してウルトを打ったんかな。
Yeah, just this is why Cho has been banned out by the Valley. Is that they have? I feel like there's a lot of trouble sometimes dealing with this when it comes to diving in and isolating some of those players there. But now we are starting this fight on the third turtle.
Yeah, they're. I mean, just like that, they're gonna push them back here. Again, Super Shark just zoning out the best he can. Another way of the dragon, finding the mark, Basic, trying to fire back. He's still alive. It's a mega kill for Moba Zane, pushing Yuna, and now Theo in the next target. She fell too. It's one after another, just falling for Vendetta. And there you go to cap it off. The TPs come out from the Valley, and they're sitting pretty here at match.
俺してないよな別に。なんだろう、ナーフしかされてない。パキと。
What a completely. This is the Valley that I remember right now. It's finding these openings. The synergy from them right now is just amazing to be able to find these kills. Not only that, but then being able to separate, to find that macro, to find these other openings for these towers as well.
What is going on here? I mean, this is a different Valley than from what we've seen through the series. I mean, not through the tournament, but just this series in general. And Vendetta is going to have to try to crawl back into this game because the gold lead already building up to 5K in favor of the Valley. It's going to be Theo trying to force a situation on the top side, had the conceal, but no one there to help him out. To follow up on Fried Chicken was going to be the target. So right now, Vendetta, we're going to see them kind of just bunch up together, try to get any type of gold, any type of XP that they can. But right now, man, the Valley is just controlling pretty much everything at this point.
Yeah, Yuna just picking up that golden staff, so he's going to be shredding as he comes in here. But I mean, you're already pretty far behind. And you saw last, when that Blazing Duet came out, Yuna got annihilated in a second, just absolutely burst down here. You see the rest of the Valley starting to set up his buff.
Okay, Moba Zane. I mean, that's how much of a threat he is. The 1-2 jab already bringing some members down by 1-4. So they're going to have to work around that. They're going to lose the blue buff here. And it's the Valley just taking resources the best they can. They might even take a turret before they transition into the next Lord of the game, or the first Lord of the game as it comes up now. And there you go, trying to find the mark. Theo cannot get the way of the dragon off, but look at that. The initiation coming out from Shark. A kill for Basic. It's Shiki that falls. Now, they're
たな
here.
今の
It's the Valley just taking resources the best they can. They might even take a turret
ちゃんと
before
俺
they transition into the next Lord of the game.
蹴れ
Or
る
the
と思った
first
んだけど
Lord
ね
of the game as it comes up
あ
now.
あちょっと距
And
離
there
感
you
が
go, trying to find the
む
mark.
ずいよな
Theo
ここ
cannot get the way of the dragon off, but look at that. The initiation coming out
切れ
from
たら
Shark.
完璧だっ
A
た
kill for basic. It's Shiki that falls. Make it Yuri as well. 2 down for Vendetta. And it's looking grim here for Vendetta to take this series because it's the Valley now knocking on the door here. Blazing Duo going to be popped. Did they bite off more they can chew? No. Fried Chicken grabbing the kill. Basic with another. And it's even more grim than before.
I know they hear that music right now. The Valley hearing it. Viva! They are ready to go to Las Vegas, but they still have a match here right now. You see that them going ahead and separating here as 2 members taking on the Lord. The rest of them still putting on pressure onto these towers. Not a single tower on the favor of Vendetta right now. 0 towers to 5 right now. The gold lead almost about 10K at the 10-minute mark. It's absolutely amazing display by the Valley right now. They have found their wits about them, not making the mistakes they made earlier on in this series. First Lord on its way up at the top right now. And honestly, this, like we said, this is what we were waiting for the Valley. This is the cohesion we were talking about. They are going to go ahead, zone out the rest of Vendetta right now as that bottom turret gets taken out, but now we are down to inhibitors, Naisu.
Yeah, I mean, Super Shark having a massive game here on this drop pick. Obviously, very comfortable for him, as he might look for another initiation here on the bottom side. Fried Chicken going in as well. There's not much that Vendetta can do. They got to handle the Lord also on the top side. They lose the first inhibitor turret on the bottom. This is most likely going to be the mid one too. They've got to do something to hang into this game, to hang in the series a little bit longer. But the Valley now waiting for that Lord to march in on the top side. Eyes set on the mid. What can Vendetta do here? They lack a ton of damage to actually go toe-to-toe with the Valley. That last turret hanging on by a thread. It's going to go down in just a few seconds. And that's going to be a totally exposed base of Vendetta. Meanwhile, on the top side, they're actually still chasing Yuri here. Moba Zane wants that kill. Can he actually grab it? The 1 versus 1, but hold on, he grabbed himself before the team even makes it there. So able to secure the 1 versus 1.
Yeah, absolute domination by Moba Zane right now. 6-0-5. Like you were talking about, like that early game. If you're giving Paquito those kills, especially early game, it's going to be almost impossible to stop him. Yuna hasn't even gotten off the ground yet, and Theo has not been able to find it. We saw the Jeet Kune Do come in, the way of the dragon come out, but he wasn't able to find the way of the dragon, which was really interesting to me. So I mean, doing a great job here as we have engagement. At the core.
This could very well be it. They're looking to punch into the base, take the series here. It's the Valley fighting to make it 3-4. They're looking for the wipeout before they finish. Poggy going to the fountain, and that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. The Valley just waiting for the moment to end it the way they want to. And there you go, the Valley advancing to the grand finals in Las Vegas.
Yeah, the first to be going to the grand final right now. The first ever grand finals. The Valley in spectacular fashion for that last match. Especially after those nerve-wracking games beforehand. They have to be taking a deep breath. You saw the BMs come out. You saw those the recalls coming out there. Very confident, very happy with their performance, and that.
And
I mean,
it's crazy because this whole time before this matchup, you know, as we look at these stats, it's just a dominating game for the Valley. And we were talking about how it was 50-50, right? I mean, this one was not, right? This is something where after watching the previous 3 games, you're just like, man, they did roll D20 and they landed on the 20, right? Like, it was just one of the cleanest games here that the Valley has shown. And I gotta say, it's a good picture of what a possible grand finals could end up being, but at the same time, they clearly have things that they need to work out, right? This time, that can be said for both teams. Of course, Vendetta still has an opportunity, but who's waiting for them, right? Has games, you're just hating game for the Valley. And we were talking about how it was 50-50 private. I mean, this one was not, right? This is something where after watching the previous 3 games, you're just like, man, they did roll D20 and they landed on the 20, right? Like, it was just one of the cleanest games here that the Valley has. You're just like, man, they came for the Valley. And we were talking about how it was 50-50. I mean, this one was not. This whole time before this matchup, you know, as we look at these stats, it's just a dominating game for the Valley. And we were talking about how it was 50-50. I mean, this one was not, right? This is something where after watching the previous 3 games, you're just like, game for the Valley. And we were talking about how it was 50-50 private. I mean, this one was not, right? This is something where after watching the previous 3 games, you're just like, man, they did roll D20 and they landed on the
GG.
Match almost the legend killers there, the Simpsons, who have taken down Ackerman, taking down last season's finalist Team First Blood. Is this going to be that vendetta can overcome?
Dude, I'm super excited. Watching this entire series, the Valley being the first team to go to
じゃあまだあれっすね。あ、本当だ、ゴス出てるわ。あ、上にいたのか。そういうことか。ここで負けて、下に行ったけど、下でも負けたみたいな感じぽいね。レガチってところがかかってるな。こういうトーナメント、日本にも欲しいですよね。まだ一回もないですよね。そもそも公式がないんだが。
Dude, I'm super excited. Watching
こ
this
れさ、
entire
非公
series,
認でやろうと思
the
ったら
Valley
超大変
being
だ
the
よね、これ。
first team to go
な
to
んか日
Vegas.
程
Guys,
も
I
あ
want
る
you
し
to
さ、
mark this on your calendar.
日
October
程が長い
30th.
と参加者集まんないし
That's
で、
the date, okay? You have your first
公
contestant
式がやれ
already.
ばね、
Not too
も
much out of the
う参
expectations
加する
of
だ
a
けで
lot
代
of
役配
viewers
り
in
ま
the
すよみたい
chat.
なことができちゃうから、
The vote
参加
actually
者めっちゃ
reflects
集まるん
it.
だけど、
But tomorrow
非
night,
公認でやろうと思うときついよな。ってことで、次までか。いつなんかな、時間書いてないからわからんね。おのおの休憩かな、これは。俺もちょっとお昼ご飯食べようかな。これ予定わかる人いる？これ次何時とかわかんないよな。あれ？あ、てか終わりこれ。明日か、終わりじゃん。グランドファイナル30じゃん。30日だわ。終わりか、今日。
グランドファイナル見てるユーザーズ側を今から決めるってことですか？
そうだとは思う。ユーザーズの方をここでやるんだったら、まあ、これからある、まあ、この日程見る感じある。どうなんだろう、終わりなんかな。じゃあ終わっとくか。わかんねえ、これ。わかんねえっすわ。もしあるんだったらもう一回配信しようかな。一旦終わりますか。うん。そうしましょう。じゃあ。急に始めたゲリラ配信、皆さん来てくれてありがとうございます。
ゲリラ配信も終わるんちゃう？
まあそうね。まあ一旦終わりましょうか。
お疲れ様です。
はい、お疲れ様です。
楽しかったです。またね。
ねえ、ありがとうございました。では。